to see if he was barefoot. Is that still the case? Is he barefoot? Because I know on Facebook somebody posted a picture of these could be his shoes, or is that so he is presumed to be barefoot at this point?
What I can say is that his mom says all of his shoes are accounted for at the house. I'm not going to say that he's barefoot.
All right.
Allegedly!
Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. This is Lady Freedom here coming at you with another raw narrative. Here's a brief disclaimer for tonight's show. Let's watch.
That's ignorant! Allegedly, that's ignorant! Ignorant.
Judgment, Alfred.
Boy, you read my thoughts. You've got the shinning.
You mean shining?
Shh! You wanna get sued?
Judgment, Alfred.
You just use that shin of yours to call me and I'll come a running. But don't be reading my mind between 4 and 5. That's Willie's time.
Hey, yo, father. I love it when he does that.
Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. This is Lady Freedom here coming at you with another raw narrative. Good to see all of you guys today. Oh gosh, hey Jude, is it still storming in Tennessee? It's been storming for like a week it seems like. And I saw Robini. Hey Sammy, we have Eric with an H. We have the Jersey Lady one. Good to see you. We have Wait What? Denise Harris, Sam I Am, Show Poodles. I have Canadian True Crime in the house here. We have Twitch Andrea, Lori. Good to see you, Lori. And Hey Jude. We have Baba Rose, Michelle Scott, Perfectly Imperfect Boy Mom. Good to see all of you guys. Truth for Us, Gypsy Doll, Carla H, Roxy, Cinderella, and Sasha. So I think I got all you guys tonight. I was trying to pop everything up. Expecting snow in PA, really? Oh my goodness. Hey, Hope Floats, good to see you. Woo woo. Thank you, Hope Floats. Don't let me forget any of you guys. Holler at me. Well, good. That's wonderful. Yeah, so I mean, I don't know about wonderful about snow. I don't miss the snow at all. Not at all. But it's good to see all of you guys tonight. And Baba Rose, did I say Baba Rose? Yes, I did. I got you, Baba Rose. Okay, great. Wow, snow, oh boy, says Sasha. They changed the format, or maybe I pressed a button, but either way, oh here, let me put the banner on this girl. But either way, when things change on me, I'm like, oh God, what happened? So I was a little discombobulated for a minute on that. So I might not pop up every comment tonight. A wintry mix in Ohio. Oh my goodness. Rob Beanie. Well, you guys stay warm and dry out of and stay out of the paths of the tornadoes. I know there was a bunch of tornadoes and things like that, and flooding and things like that. So, well, tonight I would like to talk about how we can turn an Apple Watch into a flashlight. So I wasn't aware. I don't have an Apple Watch. I'm not a big like watch person. Back in the day when I was in nursing school, I did use a regular watch because of course they go by military time, and my teacher was pretty strict, and she's like, you have to get a regular watch and understand all of how things work in case the power goes out, right? Because if the power goes out, you want to be able to take somebody's blood pressure without having to use technology if you are in a situation where you can't. Hey, Pamela Roberts, good to see you. Sunny in Australia. Ooh, it sounds nice in Australia. And Prayer Warrior, good to see you, Prayer Warrior. So I was interested when Justin brought up and I don't have any clips because I'm working on something for you guys. I'm working on a lot of things in the background. So hey, Borna Honey. So there's a lot of stuff going on. There's a lot of things that we can kind of go over. And we have a new interview, right, which I read on the show, but I'm working on some sort of a comparison as well. So it should be pretty fun to watch for you guys. I try to make it entertaining as I can in this situation. But I want to talk about the Apple Watch being used as a flashlight because I know there was a lot of speculation in terms of what could have been used in the flashlight video. Was it a headlamp? Was it, an Apple Watch? Was it actual flashlights? I thought it was a little bit too high in the video for it to be a flashlight, because usually you point a flashlight down towards the ground so it can illuminate the area that you're walking in so you don't trip over something. Sasha says, I don't wear watches and didn't even think about the watch, although I did try out the cell phone flashlight. It seems too bright for these lights. Good point, Sasha. And that's the thing about the flashlight. So I don't know if I would imagine that if Katie has an iWatch, she's got an iPhone, because iPhones and watches and Apple products in general are really compatible with each other, but they're not compatible with other operating systems, right? It's totally different operating system that's being used. And so I would imagine, just an under assumption, if you guys know for sure, let me know. But I would assume that Katie has an iPhone of some sort to go back and forth. But that doesn't mean she doesn't have a Droid, and she's uses that as her regular phone, and then she's got an iWatch. Baba Rose says, I have an Apple Watch, and yes, it has a flashlight. Oh, wow, Baba Rose, that's cool. See, I didn't realize they had a flashlight on them, which they're really pretty neat. I will say, if I was going to have a watch, it might be an Apple Watch because they're pretty cool. Hey, Helen, good to see you. Helen says, it was stated LE took the watch, so they should know where it was at all times. Yeah, I would think so. I mean, especially because I'm sure it holds all the metadata and everything from that particular night. And then also, they track a whole lot of everything, right? The iWatches do. That's just kind of what they're designed for. And hey, Kaika. And Carla H says, Mob Crew did a little test one night, tried flashlight, headlight, head flashlight, cell phone from so many feet away and recorded. It looks most like a cell phone light. Yeah, Carla. And that's kind of what I was thinking until I watched, I believe what it was that it was the close-up of the flashlight video, and it sort of looked like headlamps to me. So I sort of changed my point of view a little bit on that because of the way the light looked to be higher up in proximity to the ground. So that was just where I was like, well, maybe it is a headlamp. But then again, when we look at the square, I watch the square and how it lights up. It looks like it could be possibly an iWatch. We know Katie had one or has one. Um, And Denise says, I don't believe it was her watch, just saying in my opinion. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, don't ever feel like you guys can't say, this is what I think it is. I'm not going to get mad at you. And I appreciate different responses, because if we were all saying the same thing, it would just, we wouldn't get anywhere, right? No new ideas. So thank you, Denise. And Sam I Am says, I'd think it'd be headlamps or headlights, excuse me, because it'd be hard to hold everything if something nefarious was going on. Sure. And it does free up your hands when you're wearing the headlamps. And when somebody said that, I don't know who it was. But I thought that was I think it was a viewer on someone else's channel, actually. And I thought, well, that's a really good point. It could very well be a headlamp, and like you said, that frees up their arms, because in this picture, obviously all the way to the left of your screen, I do think that they're carrying something in that picture. It certainly looks that way to me, or it would appear to be so. Who it is, I don't know, but we do know there was activity in the neighborhood at around 3 in the morning. Oh, keep up the chatter. Thanks so much for being a member for a month. Oh, I'm so glad that you've been a part of the Dragon Tribe for a whole month. Thank you so much. And Kaika says headlamps come in all different shapes and sizes. I was thinking about that earlier, Kaika, when I was kind of watching Justin's live, and I thought, I've even got, like, I remember for Christmas one year, I got all the guys like a beanie, and it had like a headlamp, and you could take it off, you could take it out of the beanie, so that way you could wash the beanie still, but then you could put it back in, because I know a lot of guys that do, like, manly jobs or whatever you want to call it. I don't even know. I never know what to buy guys for Christmas. It's horrible. So, like, especially because we used to do like Secret Santa too. And then, like, it was just, that's why I usually just like make candy and moonshine and different types of, homemade stuff usually. Hey, Panda Bear's mom, good to see you. Hey, Deanna Downey, good to see you. Thanks, Denise. Absolutely. I'm not going to chew you guys out for saying something different than me. Thank you, Hey Jude, for gifting a membership. Thank you so much. And if you get a membership from Hey Jude, make sure you say thank you to her as well. And welcome to the Dragon Tribe. And Sam I Am says, oh yeah, I've seen those beanies. Yeah, they're really neat. Like, I thought it was cool, and they weren't like ugly or anything like that. I didn't think, maybe they opened it, was like, oh, but, but yeah, so I thought maybe it could have been something like that. And really what it is like those ones were round. And they also did like a red flash thing and like some other features on it or whatever. But then also there was like other ones that I looked at on Amazon, is where I got them. And those ones kind of had a square light on them. So some of them were circular and then other ones were square. So pretty interesting. Hey, Michelle Moore. Michelle Moore says, I'm new here. Have a blessed night and God bless you all. Love, Michelle from Georgia. Well, thank you, Michelle from Georgia. That's so sweet of you. You have a blessed night as well, and welcome in, and I hope you enjoy yourself. And we got Cece. Hey, Cece, good to see you. So who else wears an Apple Watch? I heard that okay, sorry guys, I just got an email popping. I heard that TB has one. Step Flying Monkey Socks has one, to my knowledge. Now, have I ever saw Chris wear like an Apple Watch or any type of jewelry? No, I have not. Like, I've never seen Chris in a chain or like anything like that. So, I usually just see him in a ball cap. And you don't think so? Perfectly Imperfect Boy Mom, thank you. I don't think iWatch is comparable with an Android. Yeah, so I mean, I don't see why Katie would have like a Droid and then switch through to Apple products. Because I mean, like, I use Apple across the board just because I, I have I used to have a MacBook Pro, old MacBook Pro, and I've always had iPhone. For the most part. I mean, for years and years now, because that was the one my daughter liked, was the iPhones, and so I ended up switching over. Coffee at Tiffany's, nice to see you. Coffee at Tiffany's says, I don't think KP would be that dumb to not take off the watch. She's way smarter than y'all think she is. Well, Coffee, I do not think, or Coffee at Tiffany's, I don't think she's stupid at all. I don't think that she's weak. I think she's a strong woman. I think she's very intelligent. You would have to be in the position that she was in the military, right? Because you do test into whatever field you go into in the military. So she was able to, test high enough for her particular job. So I do not think she's stupid. I do not think she's weak. What I do think is that Katie had something to do with what happened to Sebastian. I do think that, allegedly, in my opinion. And if I had more evidence to the contrary, I wouldn't believe that. But seeing how Katie was the last one with her son, her story has changed several times. I've been working on something, and you guys will hopefully see what I'm trying to show you. But if you don't, that's okay. That's totally fine. But I think that if the evidence wasn't so overwhelming, and I'm talking about more circumstantial than physical evidence, because we know that there hasn't been any physical evidence released. Not to say that they don't have any. I don't know if they do or not. But no, with your comment, no, I don't think she's dumb. I think that when you do something that you're not supposed to do, though, I think that we all have a pretty good chance of slipping up when we do that, because we're doing something that we know we're not supposed to be doing, right? So it just makes it a little bit harder to cover your tracks. And usually that's what gets people in trouble, is just that one little detail that they missed. Hey, Dee Marie, good to see you. So, but no, hun, I don't think she's stupid. Heck no, I don't think she's stupid. I don't underestimate Katie at all. And Brenda says, hey, Brenda, good to see you. Hat with a light in it, in my opinion, KK would know they could track when she turned on the lights on her Apple devices, I would think. That's a good point too, Brenda. She might have known that her Apple Watch was tracking everything. I think that may have been, and that's a really good point, and I think that may have been the reason why she was wearing her iWatch that day, right? Because it's going to track everything they're doing. So that's a great point. Thanks, Brenda. Thank you, Lori. Thank you, guys. You guys are the best mods ever. Kaikis says 100. Sasha says maybe during searches or at the dump, they're looking for Apple Watch. You're super smart. Oh, thank you. No, I was watching Justin, and I just kind of like stumbled upon what he was talking about. And of course, you all kind of know how I feel about the lights video, and how I think it is a big part of whatever evidence that the police have that we probably aren't supposed to know about, right? Like, another thing I would like to talk about also is the landfill, right? Because that was going to be my topic tonight. But then I decided when I saw this that we would kind of talk about both. And I don't have, like I said, clips. Usually I have clips. I don't have clips tonight. But I think that with everything that we kind of already know, and if anybody's new to Sebastian's case, let me know and we can kind of fill you in. But I think a lot of us kind of understand that, there was a large scale search in the beginning. The first week, day 8, they scaled the search back, right? And then shortly after doing that, and the reason they said they did that, by the way, was so that they could focus on the investigation rather than the search. And then they end up at the landfill in Kentucky, which again was another detail that we weren't supposed to know, right? We weren't probably supposed to be privy to that information. And for you Chris followers, privy to that information. And let's see what people have to say. Oh, Perfectly Imperfect Boy Mom says it could be she could turn the watch to bottom of a wrist so it faces the ground. Oh, that's a good point, Perfectly Imperfect Boy Mom. So she would have turned it around. Sorry, I think I have a dog here. So she would have turned it around. I see what you're saying. Yeah, and that's very possible. That's very possible. And I'm not as familiar like with if the light comes out, Baba Rose, maybe you could help us out. Like if it comes out of or if it illuminates the face of the watch and that's where it projects light from. You do have those beanies, Denise. They're cool for like guys who work, outside and stuff, or like, maybe a mechanic or somebody. I don't know. Like I said, I never know what to get guys for Christmas, so I just look up there like Amazon, men's gifts is what I usually search for. And Kaika says, didn't Melissa have an Apple Watch in the video of her and Sebastian's birthday out? I don't know. She was kind of the camera person, and I don't even think that we saw her. I'm trying to think back. I don't know. You guys are going to have to help me out with that, Hey, Jude says, CP only wears jewelry with dresses. LOL. Ooh, snap. Hey, Jude, you make me laugh. Okay. Kaika says Cruella would own one too. Yeah, I'm sure Cruella does. And you know what? Maybe all of them do. I just, because I've never seen Chris wear one, but maybe like everyone has one. That's a good point. Roxy. Denise. Chloe Cunning Katie, Kaika says. Yeah, she is slick, Sam. I know. I agree. I think she's, definitely smarter than some give her credit for. I guess I do have to agree with that comment too. Kaika, that's what I think. Jude. Sasha says, where's old girl Twerkin's candy? Yes, Apple Watch. Now I wonder. Twerkin's candy. Sasha, you guys are funny. Michelle says, thank you. I'm following Sebastian's case. We got to find him. I feel his mom's the blame, and I love being here. I'm a handicapped woman and can't afford a membership. Love, Michelle. No worries, Michelle. Hey, I haven't done a members only live, guys, and I'm working on it. I had a few little minor hiccups, but I think we're going to be able to do that. And I also have to kind of figure out how to set that up through StreamYard. But don't worry, Michelle. I appreciate you being here, and I never expect you guys to ever like give money and stuff. And Perfectly Imperfect Boy Mom says, oh, sorry, I just realized I was way behind from answering a cell phone. My bad. No worries. No worries. I get behind in the chat so bad. Hey, Town Chat Cafe. Good to see you. Hey, James Coover. James Coover says, in my opinion, as far away as those lights were, I don't think you would be able to see that light as good because of how small a watch it is. If anything, besides the small flashlight, maybe a cell phone possibly, but no watch in my opinion. I agree with that, James. I can see how maybe it would be too far away to pick it up because it certainly is or and would have to be bright in order for the camera to have picked it up because it's the camera on the corner of the street that's kind of facing toward the cul-de-sac area, so it does pick up Chris and Katie's home in my opinion. um, and Denise Harris says Katie Proudfoot is a very smart woman, and yes, I believe she did it. In my opinion, I believe so too. I believe she's smart. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Thanks. Hey Jude, that's so sweet of you. You guys are so sweet. And James Cooper says, wouldn't be nice if it was possible to reenact the lights using different types. It would be, but it would be really, I think it would be difficult to get permission. Now, we know that, SF was able to do a reenactment, but I don't know. I don't know what happened with that. It's weird. I don't I personally didn't agree with that reenactment, but nevertheless that happened. Yeah, Denise, I agree. Katie Proudfoot's interviews totally give her away. Absolutely a complete liar. That's my opinion as well. Um, and unfortunately, I wish that it wasn't that opinion. I mean, I would really like it if I thought there was a different outcome, but unfortunately, I just, you know, I don't think that. And Coffee at Tiffany says she's not going on every YouTube channel like CP is, or when they go to court, I say she is smart not to. Yeah, I think she has attended court. And I don't blame her for that. If my husband was at court, which I don't have a husband, but if he was at court, I would be there with him. I mean, it's just the way that is, right? Because you're supporting somebody. But yeah, I don't know why she is condoning Chris's behavior. We've spoke on here before, and it's no secret that I do think that Katie may be doing some of the things that Chris wants her to do because he's very controlling. I believe he's narcissistic. You know, there's many reasons why I believe that. And I think that because just some of her mannerisms around him, his history, things like that. But yeah, I don't know why she condones his behavior the way that she does, because if it was my son and that was uh, my husband, the stepfather to my kiddo, I would tell him to behave himself, and I would tell him to stop. I wouldn't want him behaving this way. It's embarrassing the family, it's making you look bad. um it's not showing you that her child in a positive light. It's causing chaos and drama in his case. And so I don't know why she think, and I honestly, I think that Katie thinks it's funny. I think that she sits back with him and listens to what he's saying. And if she's not, in the vicinity because he does work out of town, I think that she listens and sits there and laughs about it and thinks it's funny. You know, I mean, it's insane. And Baba Rose says, James, I don't think so either, but going to have to go outside and look. Yeah, there you go, Baba. Be careful out there. No, I appreciate that because, like I said, if I had one, I could probably do, some sort of a reenactment with you guys on it. And Justin did one on his channel. I just didn't have a time to download. Like I said, I have several projects in the works right now, so I'm kind of juggling them all at the same time. But I think that you guys will enjoy what's to come because, like I said, we're gonna be going full speed ahead. Hey, Mally Cat, good to see you. Hey, Holly S. Thank you for the roses and the black hearts. I appreciate that. Pervy. I'm not pervy. Well, good thing law enforcement told you you're not pervy, Chris. And Town Chat Cafe says, does anyone know if they went shopping at Costco or that Sunday or if it was on Saturday? I wonder if Ellie checked cameras to see who uh, bought what that day and with cash or credit card. But that's such a good point, Town Chat Cafe. Thank you so much. And I believe, to my knowledge, that it was Costco on Saturday and they went to BJ's on Sunday. But they both seem to be wholesale grocery stores where you get, you can buy in bulk, or you do buy in bulk. They don't usually sell things like in small packages, right? You're buying in bulk. And one of my theories from the very beginning was that Katie was buying in bulk. That way she could stay in the house because she knew that she was going to be in for a while. And that's my theory on what may have happened going to two wholesale grocery stores to buy in bulk. Because, of course, my thought process would be, if it's just you and Sebastian in the home, why are you purchasing, in bulk like that if Chris isn't around? Because I don't know about you guys, but typically guys will, eat a lot more. And so, and that sort of thing. So, when it's just one person, it's a little bit different, right? When it's you and a kid, even a teenage boy, I still don't understand why they would be shopping in bulk. I don't know. So I've always kind of been stumped on that, but you guys can let me know what you think about, Katie going to those two stores. Um, we aren't pervy to anything in this group. That's right. That's right. Perfectly imperfect boy mom. We're we're not pervy. Oh my goodness. I know, and see, and it would be, yeah, true, James. You'd have to stand about the same distance away from the camera lights too. I know, and that would be so difficult. Hey Jude, hey Jude winks. Okay, I gotta put that one up there. That's too funny. Winks. Oh boy, I heard a little bit of perviness going on Justin's channel earlier today, is what I heard. No, I'm just kidding. He was playing crispy and pervy actually. Um, and Perfectly Imperfect Boy Mom says, yes, it illuminates the face of the screen. Thank you so much. I didn't know if it was like a little light that like popped out, because that's kind of how it is on the iPhones. It doesn't make the screen brighter. There's like a flashlight in the back of the phone. So thank you so much for letting me know. Hey, bad actors. Bad actor says, why would a very technologically aware individual use their Apple Watch though? Katie would know better than most the ability to track such a device in a crime. Yeah, and I would think, because even down to the footsteps, bad actors, it usually, sometimes it'll count your steps, right? Because it'll be like, you took X amount of steps today, da 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 da. It tracks you like that. So Deanna. Hey, couponing, how you doing? Super sleuth. And Tony, excuse me, Town Chat Cafe. I'm sorry. I always botch your name. I'm so sorry. I see there are 140 views so far watching, so please hit that like button. Aw, thank you, Town Chat Cafe. That's so sweet of you. Thanks, guys. Yeah, we got to get to 200 so I can play the party. We upped the goal, so. But I think we can hit it, definitely. And Cece says, I do the same with Amazon, Lady Freedom. I never know what to buy. The guys, they're always so hard to buy for. And then, of course, I always pick like the one person that has everything, and it's like, well, why do you buy that guy? And Bad Actor says, in my opinion, Katie would have ensured her watch was placed on a charger at 12 a.m. to 6 a.m., adding to her alibi. Absolutely, absolutely. Like, unless she was so busy with whatever was transpiring, right? Because like some people think it was a snap or that it was an accident, that happened that night, that it wasn't premeditated. And just because, that's the case, it really depends, because you can also call it premeditated. So, but not to get into all of that legal, semantics. But in the same way, the only way I can think of that she might have that it was on, because it's kind of like what we were talking about. I think it was like maybe 4 or 5 lives ago now. But somebody was like, when you have your sunglasses on your head, but you're like looking all over, or you're looking through your purse for them, and then you realize they're on the top of your head. That might have been something, especially if it was like a spontaneous event, that she may have just like forgot that it was there. But in the same way, if it was premeditated, I could totally see her keeping it on the charger, because you would want your ducks in a row, right, when you're trying to pull off a crime of this magnitude. So thank you, bad actors. I appreciate your point. Yeah, it's a great point. Because Katie is very technologically advanced when we think about the average Joe, or the average lady. Purvy's not innocent either, in my opinion. No, Sam, I am. I agree, because honestly, unless Katie pulled this all off herself, right, behind Chris's back, and he has no idea, and he just totally believes her. But, that doesn't fit into my theories. It really doesn't. I think that, he's in it for the long haul with her, because he's involved. That's the only reason that I could see a guy like Chris. And again, it's, based on what we've seen in the past with the 5 marriages, right? I mean, this is his 5th marriage, and I just really believe that he's not the type of man who like sticks around to commit, right? Like, he commits right away, right? No doubt. He's like, let's get married, come on, we're gonna get hitched. And then they get hitched, right? And then it's like, wah wah wah, and that poor woman is stuck, probably heartbroken, devastated, doesn't know what happened, narcissistic discard, the whole 9. And she's just sitting there like, what did I do? Like, it's but no, I don't. Purvy's definitely not innocent. Sam, I am. um Mally Cat says bad actors 100%. And bad actor says LE likely has her watch with other devices. Now I'm thinking, that's where it's a little bit cloudy for me, and muddy for me, because I don't know. Like, I see she's got some kind of a watch, I think, on in this picture. That's why I kind of added it. So it's the one all the way to the right over here. I believe that it's most likely she got it back around before June. She wasn't wearing it for a while. And then when she took Faith out to the restaurant, she has it on. Now, we see, and I should have brought in a better picture, but this one down here, that's her at the Texas Roadhouse. We all know she clearly had one. I don't know. I mean, Chris said that they took their phones right off the bat, gave them back quickly. But then again, he just recently said something like they still have some of the electronics. So again, it's just so hard, because we're dealing with liars. They're not telling us, they're not giving us straight answers. So it's really hard to follow. And I think that's the point. It's kind of like order by chaos, right? It's like, we're in control because we're controlling the chaos that's going on, right? And that's kind of his MO. That's what he's trying to do. In my opinion, he's done that from the beginning. And then he has helpers, Hey, Lori, good to see you. We got both of our Loris tonight. Pervy. Denise. And Deanna Downey says, the America's Most Wanted interview will be interesting to see. Apple Watch on? Ooh, that is a really good point. I mean, I would think she would be dressed in her her best for for the America's Most Wanted. Now, again, I did hear that they didn't allow for them to come into the house, which I think is very odd. Again, another kind of a red flag, or kind of like, if I was to list off the pros for Katie not doing what she, what we all think that she probably did, versus, the cons, no, she didn't do it, right? I mean, yeah, I have so many in the list that she did do it, and that's another part of it, in my opinion. Um, and James says, but don't you think it was the flashlight type either? Oh, but I don't think that it was the flashlight type either, because you would be, oh, sorry, James. You would think it would be shown a beam of light like flashlights do, which is why I feel maybe a cell phone light, because it does not give off a beam of light. Yeah, that's why I was trying to figure out, like, if it was the face of the watch that lit up, or if it was, like a light that projected outward from it. But again, I'm wondering if it would be bright enough. Eric with an H says man products, lotions, beard conditioner. Oh, you're giving me great. You're giving me ideas. Shaving things from the the man aisle, of course. Oh my goodness. Got you set up for Christmas later this year. Thank you so much. I know, and I'm gonna have to like send off a lot of gifts. So thank you so much, Eric with an H. I appreciate you. And Carrie Starr says, bad actor's very true, but what if she didn't have anything else available to use if it wasn't premeditated? That's a good point, Carrie Starr. And it's quite possible. It's quite possible. And the reason that I say that is because, again, I think that in a panic, or even in a situation where, it could have been thought out, that that could work. So Denise says, I think pervy. And Hey Jude says, bad actors, especially if it was an outburst of someone's temper. That's a great point too, Hey Jude, because, we're not thinking clearly when we're angry, right? We're acting out of anger. And so in that moment, we're not thinking, clearly. So that's a great point, Hey Jude. Thank you. He's got his flavors, sucker. Lori. Well, and I do think that, in my opinion, and from, kind of what I've heard, I do think that Chris and Katie have an open relationship, and even more so now with the conversation that was had on Queen Bee's panel. So, we had Chris, Terry Lynn, Queen Bee, and then there was kind of Roro was another one, Clue and Cletus were on. But then they had a couple of other guests. I don't mean to leave anybody out. I'm just saying the ones that I know. But the conversation that Chris was up there having with a bunch of women, I know Cletus was there too. It was very high sex content, let's just say that. And we're all adults. It was a Friday night. I'm sure, like, Queen Bee sets, I mean, like I do too, I set my shows and videos, everything is not for kids, you know what I mean? And I understand we're all parents. I think for the most part all of us are parents. And so I'm not trying to say anything about that. I'm just saying, in terms of, are they in an open relationship? I think so, just based on the conversation, the content of the conversation. And then, like, Katie wasn't involved. It was just Chris up there. And, we all know the history between Terry Lynn and Chris. And so for Katie to be okay with that, I would find it to be disrespectful myself. But that's just me. I'm just not down with that. And Sam I Am says, Denise, I know, but that's how he said it in the video. Yeah, well, and it's just so hard because they do say they switch. You know what I mean? They switch it up. They'll say something here, they'll say something there. So it's really hard. It's hard to find consistencies. It's more easy to find inconsistencies than consistencies, right? And James says, or maybe a headlamp. It also is not much of a beam of light. Well, it just depends. Some of those ones are really, really bright. It just depends on what kind they had. Especially like some of those, like for mechanics and things like that. And I don't know what type of areas that Katie has to get into when she's installing these systems, right? But I would imagine she could use a headlamp from time to time, while she's installing. So, it's possible. And Cece says, thanks for the ideas. I don't know what to buy men either. Cece, you are set for Christmas. I wish I was one of those people that like starts buying for Christmas now. I think I would stress myself out a whole lot less if I was, but like I'm always scrambling at the last minute. Oh my goodness. So I'm definitely gonna keep that in mind though. Eric, thank you. And Bad Actor says she's very likely could have placed on a charger once at home to ensure zero monitoring vitals. Yes, that's right, Bad Actors. Thank you for that too, because yes, it does monitor vitals. And she mentioned falling asleep on the phone to CP. Watch would confirm this. That's true. So that's another interesting point about Chris and Katie's conversation with Dateline, right? Because in the Dateline interview, Katie says that she went to bed about an hour after Sebastian's noise in his room. And that would put her going to bed around 11. But she told Duchess for the Missing that in the first interview on day 8, that she was on the phone with Chris and she went to bed around midnight. And she even said midnight. There was also a news article that was sent to me, and I wanted to confirm with the person who wrote the article, but they did not get back with me. And so I did not want to present it without being 100% on if it was said by Katie or if this was something that the news reporter just recalled and put in the article, if that makes sense. And they did not get back with me, and I'm sure it's probably because they didn't want the drama. But nevertheless, Katie told the news reporter that she went to bed around midnight and that Sebastian was last seen around then as well. So Main Street Media did not comment back. And Eric says, CC, absolutely, we're simple creatures for the most part. I know. I wish I had that mentality at times too, Eric, because I do agree with you there. Um, you guys are a lot more mellow, right? Easygoing. Denise says, I love being around like-minded people. Thanks, Denise. We love having you here. Sasha, I'm speculating as usual. Hey, we're all speculating, honestly, and that's why I like bouncing ideas off of you all, because, what else can we do at this point? Cece says better than socks and underwear. Exactly. It's like, here's a package of tube socks. And James says, hello, Lady Freedom, and hope you got the email today. If not, it is a definite checkout. Oh, okay, cool, James. I'll check it out. I'm sorry, guys. I'm so bad. I tried to answer back some emails and then I got sidetracked again. I'm so bad with it. I really try to get into there and catch up, and then, but like I said, I'm working on some collaborations, so I needed to speak to a few people, and I kind of just got sidetracked with that as well, but I will definitely check it out. And Carrie says, you always You always leave the most intelligent comments after each live. I'm grateful for you. Aw. Hey Jude says that to Carrie Star. Carrie always has good comments. I agree. Hey Jude. And Bad Actor says, even if not planned, no one with her credentials uses a very traceable watch as lighting, in my opinion. Yeah, I mean, I would agree with that. Unless it was something where she just completely forgot. That's the only thing that I can think of is in the moment, it was the one thing that might. But then again, if the watch was taken by LE and analyzed, right, or downloaded, with their technology, I would imagine they would see her steps at 3 in the morning, right, or any time, and then she's busted. So that's, again, Bad Actors. I agree. Oh, hey Judy, thank you so much, Judy, for gifting your Lady Freedom's Raw Narratives membership. And if you get that membership, make sure you say thank you to Judy. Thank you so much, Judy, and welcome to the Dragon Tribe. Sorry guys, they changed it on me, so now I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. Lori says, I think he does what she tells him to do. Really? Do you think she's the ringleader, Lori? Like she's telling CP she calls the shots? Judy, thank you. Aw, she is so sweet. Robbini says she could have gotten a new one by now too. It's been a year and they watch us do. They know we noticed it was gone. Well, and that's a good point, because I do think that they do watch what is going on. I really do. I think they pay attention. You can kind of tell with some of the statements that they say and things like that. But absolutely, that's very possible. And you do upgrades on things like that too, after a couple of years. So I don't know how long she had it before that, and if she had it paid off or whatever, and if she, some people like to get the new technology and then they don't want something that's obsolete, right? So then when the new one comes out, they get a new one. She might be that way. I don't know. Hey Napanoch Father, good to see you. And Eric says, thank you. Oh, did you get the membership, Eric? Thank you. Oh, good. He says thank you to Judy. That's so sweet. Yeah. Well, that's for you telling us the man gifts. You know what I mean? That's like golden. That's worth like 10 Lady Freedom. I'm just kidding. Aw. That's so cute, Eric. Thank you. He says, I feel all warm and cozy now. Well, welcome to the family. Hey, Joni. Good to see you. Good to see you. Good to see you. A nice gift, Eric. Aw. Hey, Krista. Good to see you. Denise says she condones because he's narcissistic. She condones it because one, he's narcissistic, and two, because Big D is more important than the child. Just saying, in my opinion. Are we talking about his family member that's called Big D, or are we talking about the other Denise? I do agree that he's narcissistic, though. Yeah, I think so. Sometimes it's easier. Sometimes it's easier to placate the narcissist than it is to argue, and you just kind of like, it's almost, it becomes like a coping mechanism to just placate them. Like, okay, yeah, sure, you're always right. Because you don't want to, bear the wrath. And Sasha says it's interesting that that guy said he saw CP's vehicle at 11:30 p.m. on the 25th of February, 2024, because if he left the area, it would have been directly after that Chris probably left at, say, 12:15. I mean, I believe he would have had enough time to get to Hendersonville in that amount of time, but he'd be cutting it really, really close. But I thought that guy said he came back from the bar I thought he said closer to 11, was it? Or was it 11:30 session? Um, but yeah, he'd be cutting it a little close. Not to say that he couldn't do it. I mean, if we're talking about the job was done in and out. You know what I mean? They had the getaway driver, they had the scout, they had whoever came from the house, they had, the person that met that person and the other person went back. I mean, it was quick. It was like in and out, right? No time to waste. Um, Baba Rose says, get this, Apple Watches have walkie-talkies on them. Really? Oh my gosh, that's crazy. Do you have to be, so you'd probably have to be like in the vicinity, just like a walkie-talkie? That's interesting, Baba Rose. Thank you. Thanks, Robini. Bad Actor says, her watch, just like their 2.5 hour phone call, are clear alibi building tools. Any tech trained individual would um, would use the utilities to their advantage. CP was fast to confirm, phone calls confirmed. He really was. Actually, I agree with that as well. Bad Actors, because he was very quick to be like, the police have already checked that out, and they know that we were on the phone for this long, and he said the exact times that they were on the phone from when to when, which we typically don't get those responses from Chris like that, right? He's usually hem hawing around and hokey pokey back and forth, and then we were like, well, we asked you a question, and we had somebody, or the interviewer asked the question, and they're just kind of sitting there like, okay. So I would agree that they were definitely using certain things as alibis, like you said, the phone call. Absolutely, I could see that. Absolutely. Thanks, Hey Jude. Eric says CC much better than the socks and underwear idea. Eric knows. He's like, I've gotten a lot of those. No, I'm just kidding. Um, oh, no worries, Bad Actors. No worries. I don't want to read your guys' comments wrong. And I've been reading a lot today, so I might be a little bit like, fried a little bit with that. But um, yeah, Brenda, 100%. It's also called codependency. Um, I do believe, and not to disparage anybody that's codependent or whoever has been codependent, because it's definitely a trauma response. That's why you become codependent. It usually happens when you're little, and then of course kind of carries on into your adult life, like many of our traumatic issues that we deal with when we're older. But yeah, some people are very independent, some people are codependent, and it can be a very toxic situation, and really is toxic. It's not love, it's toxicity. Where they just have to have that other person, and everything is contingent about that other person, like the way that person feels, the way the person, everything is attached, but it's just toxically attached, right? Because there's a difference, in being a partner with somebody and being dependent on that other person, and codependent also, where that other person has to have you and you have to have them. Like, it's weird. It's not healthy. And Prayer Warrior says, I'm listening on the TV and chatting on my phone. However, somehow I was in the wrong chat. That's funny. Oh no, Prayer Warrior. See, that's what happens when I multitask. It's like, what am I doing? I have to try to focus on one thing or another. That's funny. Denise says, I got 23 eggs today. Oh, good. That's wonderful. That's really good news. Wow. Spring is here. And Judy says, hey, Jude, most welcome, darling. Showing my love. I know y'all haven't seen me in the chat. Yeah, Judy, we were missing you. We were missing you. And Coffee at Tiffany says, I think CP is a narcissist. My hubby's best friend of 10 years is. And let me tell you, you don't go eat unless you eat where he where he does, period. I understand that very much. They have to be in control of everything. And again, it's a believe it or not, it is a trauma response as well. It's like they have to be in control of everything so that their ego doesn't get bruised. They're always protecting that ego. And it's a coping skill, from trauma. So thank you. Thank you, Coffee at Tiffany's. I agree. Um, yeah, narcissists are hard people to deal with. It's like, even if you read, there is a book called Dealing with Difficult People or something like that. That book does not work on narcissists. Let me tell you, it just doesn't. I've tried. Um, Carrie says, bad actors, we can hope she did in the spur of the moment and thought about evidence later. We need digital evidence. Yeah, I know, Carrie. I would hope that she would like slip up. But then again, I was just thinking, when bad actors was saying that, I was thinking it through a bit, and I'm like, if she was wearing that thing, they probably would have had her, right there. So I'm beginning, more like I'm leaning toward no. I don't think she had it on. Hey, little Reddo, good to see you. Yeah, we have. Hey, Jude. And Sasha says, so that guy's statement is no alibi and complete hearsay. And if it was 11:30, it's irrelevant because CP left after that. My speculation and may have actually been in Gallatin. Okay, that's really interesting. Yeah, and I don't know about that guy. I think he was told what to say by Chris. I really do. Even if it was his boss, I think he was probably like, "Hey man, do you mind if lie for me?" And the guy sounds like he wasn't really like the moralistic type. And maybe he is, and maybe he goes to church, more than I do. I don't know. But in the same way, no, I don't think that guy was very credible. I just don't. Um, Lori said, Lori says CP said pervy, but but did you see TB wrote another word wrong in a similar way? Mike, the statement analyst showed it. No, I didn't see it. I saw him doing some real pervy. I'm gonna tell you right now, somebody hugged my kid like that, there'd be a big problem. There'd be a major problem. The one that was shown on X. Hey, Vanna. Vanna says, I think KP is rotten to the core, especially after how Nina described her involvement when they were taking her baby away from her at the airport. She said KP was smiling at her. Yeah, she definitely did. She was recording her, Vanna. She was laughing. She thought she was getting off on tormenting somebody else. Yeah, and see, that's why, even though I think that Katie is doing a lot of things because, you know, she may not have a choice with that family, I also think that she's just as cruel and vindictive as they are. So it's kind of, both can be true at the same time for me. I really believe that she is rotten too. She's rotten too. Yeah, absolutely. You would have to be to allow for that treatment of her child like that. Like, who does that? Jen, can you see how fat CP is? I the last time I saw him was in that interview that they did. But yeah, he's gotten, and then he calls other people that, and I'm like, do you own a mirror? Like, do you ever look in that thing and just, give a good gander? Because, Eric with an H says, here is a theory. Katie is sharp and could be, in my opinion, to let CP be him and be the fall guy. Well, that's a strong possibility. That's a strong possibility, and I don't know. People were saying that Katie had a lawyer, right? And I don't know if Chris is also, within that. But I don't know if that's a strategy and just saying that Katie has one because she was the last one with Sebastian. I don't know. But that's a good point. I mean, she could have orchestrated something herself like that. I wouldn't put it past her. I really wouldn't. And Bad Actor says we can, absolutely, we can. I believe we will have more success outside of their tech sphere, neighbors, etc. Katie is highly trained. Right, right. Yeah, absolutely. I believe that too. Yeah, and I hate to like underestimate her at all, you know? So. Town Chat Cafe says they have good prices on clothing too, so she may have bought new clothes and maybe a suitcase. Well, I wonder what items she did buy, Town Chat Cafe. That's a good point. I wonder what she bought there too. Because, yeah, it didn't only have to be food and snacks. Um, Brenda says, in my opinion, CP came home for snacks. Well, we know they like snacks because they both, put on quite a bit of weight there. Hey, Vic, good to see you. And the Jersey lady one says, she says that they went to those stores because they gave out samples, and yep, Sebastian liked to taste all the different foods. Yeah, I remember them saying that, and it's funny too, Jersey lady, because like I even said, I was like, you know, why would she bring him to a grand opening of a store, like, because all the other activities were really fun, and in my opinion, I don't like to grocery shop like that much. It's not my, I don't really like it as much unless there's samples. Then I'm like, okay, why not? But again, um, Katie said there were samples, so I was like, okay, well then, all right, I can't argue there. Sebastian likes the samples. I don't blame him. I do too. Um, Krista, what pervy? Jen says, looks like CP loves the snacks while Sebastian can't have anything. I know, and I do think they weaponized food, Jen. I really do. I think they did. And that's, oh, thank you, Hey Jude. That's just something to consider, definitely. Um, oh no, Lori, you fell asleep. Oh no. Oh no. Oh man, I'm sure you guys, sometimes it's just you're taking in all kinds of information. It's just got to be like exhausting. I'm sure. I feel like that too. Sometimes I just get on the information overload and I'm like, I need to think things through. Otherwise, I'll be coming up here saying Nina was in the military like the one night. I was like, oh gosh, where'd I come up with that? But it's just so much information. And Denise says if you shave your and not your boots, is that if you shave your cooch but not your boots, is that the same as a mullet to you, Chris? Oh my goodness, that was so funny. Bullhorn Betty. Perfectly imperfect boy mom says, yes, I have 4 boys and a husband, 6. 2 of my boys have moved out, and we actually canceled our Sam's membership because it was too much food. That family of 4, a man and 2 boys, right? I know. I think I can agree with that, right? Because it's like there's only so much that you can eat. And like, yeah, thank you, perfectly imperfect boy mom, for putting that into perspective. Because, I was thinking, especially if Chris isn't there, you would think like the guys eat the most, right? Um, and Judy says, hey Jude, that's crazy. Busy month. Passover starts Saturday night after I might say it wrong. Shabbat, I hope, Judy, ends, and house has to be cleaned a certain way according to Judaic law 1 of 2. Oh, wow, Judy. Well, I think that that's wonderful that you take the time to, be meticulous about religion. I think that's a wonderful, beautiful thing. So, I bet you that it's definitely good for the soul. You know what I mean? Um, and Lil Red says, please hit that subscribe. Thank you. Or that thumbs up. Thanks, Lil Reddo. Thank you so much, guys. Hey, Poppy Love, good to see you. Hey, Prickly Pear. Thank you very much, Prickly Pear. You guys are so smart in the chat. I just love conversating with you. And Mel Wilkie says KP's watch would be able to pick up her heart rate and date stamped. So hopefully KP was wearing when she yelled to Sebastian in his room. The watch could record an increase in her heart rate, etc. That is such a good point. Yeah. So because when we get upset, right, our heart rate elevates. So if she was at any time, if there was an altercation and her heart rate was elevated, then there could be some kind of speculation there as to whether something happened to increase her heart rate like that, right? Unless she was doing like, aerobics in the front room or something, right? But good point. That is such a great point. And Brenda says, too bad Sebastian didn't have an Apple Watch on. I know. Well, she wasn't even allowed to have a cell phone. It didn't look like at the table. So I was like, what is going on there? Because, to me, if she's got her phone out, how come he can't have his out? Not to say that, she's the mom. She calls the shots, right? But I mean, if you're going to be on your phone, why couldn't he use his phone? I mean, so... Oh, gift card to the favorite hobby store. That's a good one, Eric. That's a really good one. And what wasn't Mama Sock seen at Worsham's store, in my opinion? Yeah, Dee Marie, good to see you. So I did hear that. And then they said that their cameras weren't working or was erased, something like that. I can't remember the exact, BS response that Worsham's gave for, not being able to figure out who was on the property that day on their particular property. Pretty strange, pretty strange. And I heard the man who owned Worsham's had passed on, or one of the proprietors. So there's that. That's so sweet. Hey Jude, prayers for a special season. That is so sweet. It's a labor of love, Judy. That is very nice. We have Lent, is what, when you give something up for Lent, whatever you feel like doing, usually something you shouldn't be doing, like drinking too much pop or something. And Denise says, if you shove, oh my goodness. Okay. I already read that one. Yeah. Bad actor says pervy is slang for perv, perv or perv. Yep. Often used to describe sex, inappropriate or creepy behavior. Interesting word choice given the context of CP. I agree. I totally agree. And we've heard a lot of things about him, and then I understand that he wasn't the one that brought up the pervy conversation on the panel the other night, but he seems to appreciate whenever there is a discussion in a pervy nature that's going on. Holly S says bad actors is always on point. I agree. And Town Chat Cafe says, excuse me, I also wonder if CP bought him new clothes and possibly a suitcase in case she sent him away somewhere far off. I would rather hear about something like that than to hear he's no longer on this earth. I know. Same here, Town Chat Cafe. And I think a lot of us feel that way, that we wish, that we're hoping that he is being kept somewhere. Oh, Lil Redo says, I have wondered if he was the cleanup crew only. Yeah, well, and it's just very odd because, we do see somebody, only one person go back to the house. It's just so, it's confusing. And Jen says CP was jealous of Sebastian, and Sebastian was smart. He played chess, won an award. CP don't have the brains for something like that. Good, since he has his mind on dirty deeds done dirt cheap. Absolutely, Jen. I agree with that. And I think that, Chris is, very much, okay, I even hate to say it like this, but like a ladies' man, I mean, I don't know who that the charms work on, but they've worked on several women, you know what I mean? They have, and Denise, you want me to read the cooch thing again? And James says, question, does anyone know exactly how long that it was after Sebastian went missing that the Sour Sox left for Washington to catch a flight to Alaska, and if it was a private plane or not? I am not sure if it was private or not. I believe it was only a few days after Sebastian went missing, that the Flying Monkey Sox took off to Alaska on a business trip for Terry Bauer Sox, allegedly, that, Cruella DeVille had joined for. Um, you know, does anyone know if the dogs have chips, location identification chips? I don't know if their dogs are chipped or not, Krista. That's a great question. Brenda says, I think control freak Edgar would have reminded her to take the watch off the 2-hour phone call, in my opinion. Probably so, Brenda. That's a good point too. I mean, two heads are always better than one. And if you have one person that's, if you have one person trying to plan for all of this, sorry, back. If you have one person trying to plan for all of this, it's harder to do, but when you have two people kind of covering tracks, it probably helps a lot. So I agree. Sam I am says Crispy's there for a good time, not for a long time. I agree. I agree. And Sasha says, what's always been interesting to me is at times you could hear a pin drop. No one heard anything. How is this? Anyone know? That's a great question, Sasha. I mean, it's just all so hard to put together. Hey, Butter Biscuit, good to see you. Would you please give prizes to the runner-up? Like the puppies in their house. Yeah, no, I knew what you meant, Krista. Yeah, for sure. I don't know if the little Morkies are chipped or not. I would imagine they would be, although I don't do that kind of thing, you know. So I don't know how they feel about that, or if, but that's a really good question. And perfect boy mom says, or she could have been due for an upgrade and got a new watch. Ellie may still have it. That's true. And maybe they do have it still, and she just went ahead and got a new watch because she likes to wear the iWatches. So that's true. Perfect boy mom. And Carrie Starr says, we know a minimum of 3 people were there at 3 a.m., more according to neighbors. So I don't think there's any way CP wasn't involved in the cleanup, in my opinion myself, or his family had to help her. Yeah, I mean, I don't know that there was this is so I don't know that there was a situation or a reason to have to kind of clean up, in my opinion. I don't think that they would have chosen that way. But we don't see anybody coming back, though. And then there wasn't any activity in the neighborhood. So do you guys think that? I guess I would need a little bit more of but don't say anything like, I mean, do you think that there was like a fight or an altercation, that there may have been a mess if Sebastian was to have met foul play? But please don't put like detailed descriptions on what you think happened, because we'll just say he met foul play. But do you think I mean, because in my opinion, I don't know that there would have been anything particularly to clean up. I don't know. See, Sasha, those glasses were not Sebastian's, though, you know? Cinderella says, in my opinion, KP knows a way around being located. I'm sure of it. She knows what she's doing. Yeah, I mean, I could see that. I can definitely see that, how they were covering their tracks. I mean, you know, I'm really hoping that maybe they didn't cover one or two of them, you know? The next street to the Sox house. Oh, Honeysuckle. Yeah. Is that the one you guys are talking about? D. Marie, don't be impolite to others in the chat. Oh, yeah. Be nice to each other, guys, because we're nice to each other in here. You know, we might disagree, but be respectful, please. I'm curious about that too, Sasha. Who else wears the watches around them? Ah, thank you, Jen. Jen, a big hello to you too. Denise says, I definitely don't trust Craddock. You know, I have mixed reviews on Craddock. You know, I think he's doing his best now. I think he was duped in the beginning by the fee. I really do. You know, by unconscious bias and, you know, several factors, you know. Judy says, is it a possibility that the second phone could be a work phone? Possibly not a probability, in my opinion. Well, I know that there were a couple of phones, and I think they actually used burner phones too, Judy, is what I'm thinking, you know. Hey, Ann Reynolds, good to see you. And Krista says, these dog chips nowadays have a cap. Oh, sorry, have an app, and they tell you where about your dog is in your house at particular times. Technology, gotta love it. Yeah, Krista, that's interesting. Thank you for sharing that, because that is, it's strange how, you know, advanced those have become. Because I remember when it was just kind of like a little locator, but I didn't know it was that accurate, you know. Why not in the home? Sasha says, why not in the home? Where, like, west of the middle of the street. Wow. Um, I don't know. Oh, Lil Redo says, I thought we all determined that was the solar light before. Not sure. Well, that's what SF said it was. Solar light. I do believe. Yeah, Jen says 3 phones for dinner, please. Hey, Joseph Rapp, good to see you. Very good to see you. Reddit. Hey, Jude says Reddit is an interesting place. That it is. Perfectly Imperfect Boy Mom says, I mean, I use an iPhone, or excuse me, she says, I use my phone flashlight to walk my dog at night, and it illuminates enough for me to see the path. So a phone flashlight, in my opinion, would work. I think so too. I think it would definitely work. Because I know my flashlight on my phone is super bright. Super, super bright, you know? And James Coover says, you know, that this brings up a question for CP to answer. If you want us, or if you were not home and at work and not involved, then how are you so positive that your wife did not do anything? Allegedly, you know, Sidebow helped her. Well, and you know, I think that that's a good question. Chris has always acted like he knew more than somebody that was out of town working, you know, and I don't know, she might have had somebody, you know. Jen says all 3 were active. I believe it. I do. I believe it. And Carrie Starr says, Sasha Johnson, I think it was on the side of the road if I remember correctly, if you look at the Google Earth from the Sox house, it's the road that goes towards the two silo things. Thank you, Carrie Star. But see, I thought that the police had said that those are not Sebastian's glasses. Good night, Judy. I hope that you have a wonderful. I know you got a lot to do. I hope that you have a wonderful time. Thank you so much. And Sasha says, I can't imagine how these people even pull that off. Practically impossible, my opinion. Yeah. Well, and I can't believe nobody has been arrested yet, and in my opinion as well. And Bad Actor says, distasteful behavior from a stepfather of a missing child under his roof. I agree. But I do think that Katie condoned that behavior, and I think that, she welcomes it. I think she likes that open relationship. That way she doesn't have to feel, probably guilty and stuff, and they enjoy it, I think, together, in my opinion. Krista, I don't even know if sometimes I wonder, sometimes I feel like you guys have a lot more good ideas on how to catch these people up than the law enforcement officers do, because it doesn't seem like, and I'm not trying to disparage, but it doesn't seem like they're working too hard to figure this out. I don't know. It's very odd to me. Because Sheriff Craddock said that he'll do anything, and he has been doing everything, and he'll continue to do everything, but I don't know. Sam Rowell, nice to see you. Sam Rowell says, CP is a creep in my opinion. I agree. James says, and would you take the fall for something that she did and that you allegedly had no involvement? Heck no. Especially not a narcissist. Again, their ego will not allow for it. Because you would be a fool to trust her because she cheated on Seth with CP, and once a cheater, always a cheater. Yeah, well, and it also seems like I said, I don't even know. Well, obviously, Seth doesn't have that type of a mentality, right? But I don't really think that they look at it as like going outside the marriage. Like, I think that they have a mutual agreement, is my assumption, based on what we've heard. Aw, thanks, Vic. That's so sweet of you. I don't know, Sasha. The stuff that went down in California is very questionable in my opinion as well. It's disgraceful, really. And Denise says this case should already be solved because of the stooges involved. Just saying, in my opinion. I agree, Denise. I agree. Thank you, Sasha. She says my opinion. And Lil Redo says, I do not understand why they are discussing that on a live. I don't know. I guess it was something, obviously, like Clue likes to talk about that type of, that subject matter. And I, if I'm not mistaken, I think she brought it up, and then they were kind of looking over like what SEX toy that she was, referring to. And then, then there was like more SEX content from the panelists. And it was distasteful, in my opinion, especially in a missing child's case. And you're talking to what many, many people believe to be one of the prime suspects in the case. And, it would be, I wouldn't participate in that myself, but, like I said, what people do on their channel, on their panel, isn't up to me. It's whatever they would like to do. But it's definitely not something that I would participate in. And I thought it was, because of the subject matter of the live that I did, I heard about that live. And so, of course, I went over and watched it. And, I wasn't really shocked or anything, I mean, I'm an adult, so, but yeah, it was weird. It was just weird. Like, I just never thought, that in Sebastian's case. But I will say, I do remember Queen Bee saying something about that they didn't have Sebastian's missing flyer up because of the subject matter, because they were talking about other things earlier on in the live, and I just kind of skipped ahead to see, what was going on, kind of because of the subject of what we were talking about last time. So yeah, Holly S says seeing her at Texas Roadhouse video puts chills up my spine. Same. And Sebastian's, demeanor and, what he appears to be going through is also entirely disturbing in my opinion. And James Cooper says the higher the lumens, the brighter and further it goes. Oh, okay. Yeah, that is true, James. And it just depends on those. Yeah, the brightness. And Carrie Starr says, true Lady Freedom. I bet she does have headlamps in her work van, but I'm sure LE didn't search it. Well, and Chris says that they searched the camper, but I don't know about that either. I don't know what to believe there. Perfectly Imperfect Boy Mom says, who are we gifting a gift recognitions for? We were talking about, I was saying that I bought headlamps for people like that were built in to a beanie for Christmas. And Lil Redo says, did you all see the remark saying TBI debunked 3 a.m. lights? No, I never saw that, Lil Redo. Where was that at? The Dateline interview was April 3rd, I believe, is when it came out. And Justin, Vonna says, Justin showed how the iWatch light works earlier. The entire square lights up pretty bright. Yeah, I saw where the person who was showing, the illumination was in a pitch black room. It looked like a bedroom that was like a pitch black bedroom. And when they turned it on, it was illuminating like the entire wall, like where you could see. I mean, it was bright. It was bright. Again, like I couldn't see if it was like the face of the watch that was doing all of that lighting, or if there was other lights, coming out from it. And Perfectly Imperfect Boy Mom says she could also take the watch off as soon as she gets home. A lot of people go straight to the bedroom and change when they get home. That's very true, Perfectly Imperfect Boy Mom. When I get off the live, I take off all my jewelry and, that sort of thing, like as soon as I get off. So I understand that. And Jen says Sebastian was such a good looking young man with such a great future ahead of him, and CP and KP squashed his dreams of being someone great. I agree, Jen. Yeah, good point, James. That's what we were saying earlier. Plus, using the headlamp, when you're using headlamps, it would free up your arms and hands. Absolutely. And Sam Rowell says Sebastian will get checkmate in the end, Chris, in my opinion. I think so too. Absolutely. And I pray for that because he deserves it. He needs justice. And Carrie Starr says, Lil Redo, they didn't debunk the lights. SF put that post from TBI was from the very beginning. Craddock said the video may be evidentiary value later on. Yes, and it did go into Sebastian's missing file. So absolutely. Yeah, don't believe SF, guys. That guy is a real tool. And where is he? Denise says, thankfully we don't celebrate Christmas. Oh, I like Christmas. And Carrie Starr says, I would say that video is what triggered the Amber Alert if you look at the Tennessee Amber Alert requirements. Oh, yeah, I believe so too. They changed it really quickly as well. And, it said that they had that flashlight video very early on, like within the first couple of days. So there's the haters are trying to debunk the flashlight video. They're so worried about it. They are so very worried about it. Like just the mere fact that I have this picture all the way over to the side, on the left-hand side, it drives them nuts. Like, they can't handle it because, they know. So it's like, and they get all up in arms and they're, harassing, comments and things because of the picture, so it's just like, if you look at their reaction, there's a reason why they're reacting in such a manner, in my opinion. It's because they know what it is, and they know that it's evidence, and they know that, it's gonna catch them up. And Denise says, Chris and Katie Proudfoot, where is Sebastian, Wayne, Drake, Rogers? Y'all know. And Judy says the inconsistencies, lack of empathy and compassion, behavior, and all around attitude these people show, in my opinion, is despicable and totally inappropriate. I agree. I agree. And, there's always strength in numbers. So, it may appear that there's a lot of people that condone that behavior. But I think that there's many, many more that are against that kind of thing, and are wondering, like, what are people doing, and I'm one of them. So I agree, Judy. Thank you. Yeah, it's just against, it's just not right. But oh, yeah. Lori says, well, I think we should have a night where we can give all our gifts for men's ideas. Yes, Lori, that's so true. Do like an unboxing or something like that. We'll have to have Eric H here for that one. That's awesome. And then, yeah, the gifts for Easter too. That's true. Perfectly Imperfect Boy Mom says, I always struggle with boy/men gifts for Easter. Oh, it's so easy with the little kids. It's so easy though, because you could do like bubble bath, or you could do like, you know, just little, like the little cars or whatever. You could put them in the eggs and stuff like that. But, um, oh, Sam thinks that the lights video were headlamps in their opinion. Thank you. Oh, hey, all I need is Jesus, coffee, and true crime. Good to see you. Thank you for being here. The gaming. A lot of people love gaming. A lot of people love gaming. Sam Sam says, every time I hear CP's voice, I want to fight him. I feel like that too. I was getting really tired of it because he was all over the one day, or the for last week, a few days. He was just like hitting up all of the, channels and stuff, and I'm like, oh boy. Um, it was a lot. It was a lot. Aw, Sasha, that's true. Great minds do think alike. And Sam says, she is a redhead. They are fiery and have bad tempers. I'm a redhead. I know, in my opinion. Sam, that's funny. Aw. Hey, Rocco Love. Rocco Love says, when KK tells of Sebastian's going to bed, him saying, I love you, it is a red flag, intentionally added in to create the image of normal, loving family. Right, Rocco? And then she doesn't even say, like, I love you back, right? It's weird because usually that would be like a common response, and I told him I loved him and he went to bed, right? But she doesn't ever say that. It's always just that one-sided. So I agree. Thank you for your comment. It's definitely a red flag. Um, and James Coover says, yes, what I sent you was the craziest answer that I came up with by trying to get into a person's mind, and best way to be able to make someone disappear without a trace, leaving no evidence. Oh, wow. That sounds really interesting, James. And I'm going to say it'd be very, very difficult. Thank you, Panda Bear's mom. Eric says I have more gift ideas. Oh. Oh, Baba Rose says, okay, Lady Freedom, I went outside in a dark area, filmed the watch and phone, see if you got videos. Okay, I will, Baba Rose, I will. Let's see, guys. And welcome into everybody coming in. Aw, thank you. Oh, thank you, Judy. Love you too. Aw, that's so sweet. Thank you, thank you. Aw, let me take a look. Whatever happened in California seemed to cause these people to completely detach from Sebastian. Well, and it does cause a divide, right? Because one set of parents or stepfoot and his mother, didn't seem to take it as seriously as Seth, and that's going to cause an issue. You know what I mean? It's just, And Holly S says, Sasha, I almost feel like they set him up or something in order to break him down. I feel in my soul. This is so much sicker than we have ever talked about. I absolutely agree and see exactly what you're saying, Holly, and it's awful. You guys are all so strong. Perfectly Imperfect Boy Mom says, I feel like they both try and dominate and bump heads over it. I almost feel like she did it to Sebastian to prove a point and dragged CP into the mess, so now he's playing along. That's very possible, Perfectly Imperfect Boy Mom. That's very, very possible. And James Cooper says, and what I have come to mind, in my opinion, a best way to do so, it might sound really crazy, but after I researched my crazy thoughts and what I learned and I found out, I could not believe it, and still hard to believe. That's right. Hey, Jude, fibromyalgia warriors. Aw, you guys. Like a gherkin pickle, just saying. Oh my goodness. Pickle. Mm. Aw. Oh my goodness, guys. And All I Need Is Jesus Coffee and True Crime says, if we didn't suspect anything before, when he said the wells needed to be cleared, that was enough for me to think something major was wrong here. Yeah, absolutely. All I Need Is Jesus Coffee and True Crime. And that's another one that we're working on, is some more comparisons with Chris and Katie and Don Wells and Candace, and kind of the whole entire case. But absolutely, I think that Chris studied Don and Candace's case with Summer Wells, and I think that they went by their playbook, in my opinion. And I'll show you guys why I think that. I have some really great shows coming up in the works for that. So thank you. And Sasha says, I nicknamed the case the K of the Pink Panther and Flying Decoy. Oh my goodness, Sasha, that's funny. Aw, your wife has that too, Eric? My goodness. We'll send her our love. Hey, Tam here. Good to see you. Okay, let me check my email really quick, guys. I'm sorry I'm so behind here. Let me make sure I get everything here. You guys are so strong. Hey, Meow. Good to see you. Good to see you. Good to see you. Joseph, you're so funny. Joseph Rapp says, anyone have an ego for sale, or can I borrow? And it's good to have a little bit of an ego, right? But good Lord. Narcissists have egos on steroids. Oh, okay, Baba Rose. That's cool. I will try walkie-talkies with my grandson 3.5 hours away and let you know. So it goes that far for the walkie-talkie? That's interesting. If it does, wow. You have to think 5 questions ahead when your answers questions from a narcissist. Very true. All I Need Is Jesus Coffee and True Crime. That it is weird, isn't it? It's like, because they're gonna lie to you too. Hey Trishy, good to see you. Good to see you, hon. And James Cooper says, and no, never saw the show. CC. Oh, Bad actor says exactly. She had it off, which points more toward potentially premeditated crime. Very true, bad actors. Yeah, that would because it's showing, uh, that she had the wherewithal and knew to take it off, right? Because it's going to track her. That's very true. Um, Trishy. Sam says, so KP had no alibi and CP is in everyone's head but his own, in my opinion. Yeah, and he's never given a solid alibi. I mean, he might say he has, but I don't think so. You know? And Carrie Starr says, Lady Freedom, I'm wondering if Ellie ever got the watch to begin with, because it could have been disposed of with the cameras. We know that there were in the kitchen, right? The 6:30 a.m. handoff at Warsham's, in my opinion. I don't discount that either, Carrie Starr. That could have very well happened, because they all of a sudden, don't have the footage and things like that. So, yeah, that's a great point. Alligators in Tennessee, yikes. Telling the truth says crystal clear. Oh, that's funny. Crystal clear. Telling the truth says, or what does that have to do with the price of eggs in China? What does that have to do with the price of eggs in China? Oh man, he was fired up that day, wasn't he? Carrie Starr says, Lady Freedom did some research on CP's alibi guy. He owns a landscape business in Georgia, and I think he just does more scheduling type stuff. He was staying in Memphis. CP is Mississippi. How did he see him at all, in my opinion? Yeah, and that's another thing, like, Silvers had brought up, that he wasn't even sure, like, which, where Chris was staying or anything like that. So, that's a great point. That is a great point. And Vanna says it seems to go into remission once. Oh, I'm sorry, guys. I didn't mean to read your comments there. James says, well, when I did research, there have been sightings in Memphis by the Mississippi Bridge, which, if I can remember seeing that, you can see CP's crane from the bridge and vice versa. Oh, okay. I didn't know that, James. Huh. That's interesting. Yeah, Sasha, I agree. Who's going to let someone talk about their child like that, who hits their child like that, who ignores abuse to be drunk? There's not enough booze on the planet. Yeah, Sam says they stopped talking to Ellie in September. She's the ringleader, in my opinion. Well, and lawyering up and everything, Um, I don't know who. Gee, I wonder. LOL, it's obvious who, Sasha says. Hey, Sammy. Sammy says, oh, um, public, etc. All the same for a guy who has his fingertips pictured in a way that could be reported to DCFS. Yeah, I agree. I agree, Sammy. I agree. And it's really frustrating. Um, oh my gosh, Cece, there was a manatee in the Mississippi River in Memphis some years back. Anything's possible. Yeah, I saw that, Sasha, that Julie paid for a lip reading of the Texas Roadhouse conversation. I would have asked for my money back. And I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I was not following that at all. Like, I turned it off because I just thought, no. Lil Redo says, I have always said that they should have checked all the suitcases in their home. We know children are disposed of in suitcases. Yeah, like poor little Gannon Stout, and Harmony Montgomery was alleged to have been put into that CMC bag and in a duffel bag and things like that. So, yeah, that's a great point, Lil Redo. Thank you. And Carrie Starr says, Lady Freedom, they lawyered up early. Seth said they had them there for interviews with LE before pleading the fifth. And Oh, sorry, guys. Pleading the fifth and stopping contact. CP just said the lawyers due to BHB, which is not true in my opinion. Right. Yeah, no. And that was his way of dodging the question, and he knows that he's on a panel that's going to allow for that. And so yeah, I agree that they've had lawyers. I mean, he's had to have had a lawyer for his family court case, and there, yeah, it's just blaming, someone else other than himself, which is again typical of a narcissist. Um, well, I guess perfectly imperfect boy mom. She said, well, she says, but BJ's do not give out samples though. Sam's and Costco does. Well, she said because it was the grand opening. And then I said, that I looked up on the website and it didn't show that they had a colossal popcorn, but because it was the grand opening, people said that there was colossal popcorn and they ate some. So, I mean, I don't know if they were just doing samples that day or if she's lying. But thank you for letting us know about that too. Um, and James Coover says, in my opinion, I can't tell you how bad that actually could be, only because something like that, I can see why CP sounds so positive about no one ever finding him. Huge, huge red flag, in my opinion. I agree. I agree. Yeah. Sammy says, and also, what did the sisters have, or what did the sisters buy at the store? I thought I heard that Costco had samples, but BJ's did not. Yeah. Yeah. See, and I don't know if it was just the grand opening. Okay. Hey, Jude said it might have been grand opening. Carrie says, I do believe they weaponized food. I caught onto that right away from the things they said and the cameras in the kitchen. Right. That's weird. To me, that is very weird. I mean, I could see if you had, sometimes children on the spectrum will overeat. I have heard of that before, right? And I heard that, they have that almost like sometimes it's like more of a compulsion, right? To just to go eat and stuff like that. So I have heard of having to put restrictions on children so that they don't overeat and make themselves sick or, be unhealthy. But we don't see that with Sebastian. And as a matter of fact, he was very thin, in my opinion. And maybe he had a high metabolism. Some people can eat and eat and eat, and it, never phases them, right? But yeah, I agree, C. Taylor. Hey, C. Taylor, so sad. Hey, Jude says, Sasha, yes, Sebastian has a big appetite. Yeah. And, he's a boy, he's a growing boy. So, yeah. Carrie says, Sasha, you're right. No, Seth said he ate normal there, but probably because Seth didn't withhold food or anything either. Exactly. And, Seth had mentioned, he had snacks and stuff like that at his house, his Fiber One bars, like the granola, and different things. And I think that, in my opinion, Sebastian probably felt very comfortable at his dad's house that he could just go grab whatever he wanted. He wasn't going to get, scolded or in trouble, things like that, and I saw a very different approach when it came to the other parents, especially when we hear a mother talking about how Sebastian was rummaging in his own house. Sasha says, when did Sebastian take a shower? Great question. I'd like to know that too, especially when she's making fun of him, saying that he needs more deodorant. When you don't shower, the world doesn't have enough deodorant when you don't, wash. And Telling the Truth says they tormented him with food. It took him out to buy snacks, and then he wasn't allowed to have them. Aww. Yeah, Telling the Truth. I feel like there was a lot to that, I mean, I really do. And Hey Jude says, I remember Seth saying Sebastian ate a giant burrito and has a big appetite. How cute. And sometimes I don't know, like I remember, going out to eat when we're little and stuff like that. And boys sometimes they want to get like the biggest thing on the menu so they like look big, and stuff. So I think that's cute. Um yeah, Denise said or Denise says that she believes Seth said he would eat a lot. Yeah, he had a healthy appetite, Seth said. I remember that. Telling the Truth said Sebastian's appetite was also very increased because of the medication called risperidone he was taking, which causes increased appetite. Yeah, okay, so thank you for that, Telling the Truth, because see, Katie said that the medication suppressed his appetite so he would eat more. And she told that to Smiley Story, but I don't think she understands what the word suppressed means. Guys, we can be very, very smart in one area of something and we can be completely inept in another area. And Katie gives those vibes off to me, right? Like she's probably one of those people that's probably a lot better at like math and things like that, technical wise, but like when it comes to like the English language and, proper use of it, she seems to lack in that area. Because to suppress something means to lessen it. But when she used it, she said that the medications that Sebastian was on suppressed his appetite so he would eat more. So it just leads me to believe that she doesn't know the definition, in my opinion. I don't know, Sasha. I don't know when she gave him a shower because, it doesn't seem like enough time in the morning to take a shower. If you're not woken up until 6 o'clock, you don't have time to take a shower, eat breakfast, and get out to the bus, in my opinion. It's just not enough time. Carrie Star says, I have 3 boys, all about 2 years apart. They were bottomless pits when they were 15. I just kept the house stocked with with the stuff they like to eat. Yeah, absolutely. And 3 at the same time. Oh my goodness. Deanna says my sons were bottomless pits when they were teens too. Yeah, and that's what Chris said. So Chris, said it right that time. He said that Sebastian was a bottomless pit, and I mean, it is like that, right? Because they're using more energy, they're growing and things like that. So yeah, exactly. Cece says growing teen boys require a lot of food. And Sammy says, also very scary that nearly every kid unalive from prolonged abuse has been deprived of food. That's scary. Absolutely, Sammy. That's a very, keen observation. And, it is something that does directly correlate, and it is very, abusive behavior, in my opinion. It's withholding. Anytime you're withholding anything, that is not love. That is the exact opposite. And it is scary, Snacks. Aw, Brenda, I'm glad you're here. Yep, Eric says, I remember Seth said he had a big appetite and slept without issue. Yeah, at his house, Hey, Jude says, my son's 6'9" and ate like 2 horses. Sasha says, I don't know what you're doing in there, but you better stop. Thud. It was Sebastian in the shower, maybe just a thought. If he had been in the shower, that's, a good point, Sasha, and he slipped and hit his head or something, that could be very possible. And then Katie didn't know what to do, and so she got in over her head. I can see that as a possibility, absolutely. A lot of people do think it was an accident, and that it wasn't intentional. So, Carrie Starr says there was actually 5 to 6 people who reported seeing CB at Warsham's that morning, not just one. They said they went to get the footage, but records over 24 hours were deleted. They said, yeah, I remember that, Carrie. Yep, I sure do. Hey, Christy Smith, good to see you. Thank you for coming in. Hey, Scranton Strangler, nice to see you. That whole 3 a.m. video is scary. It is. It is for 3 days. Hey, Aries, what I miss out about Cooch. Good to see you, Aries. Oh goodness, we were just talking about Bullhorn Betty's little little thing there. Aw, thank you, Trishy. Thank you guys. Sorry, I'm so behind in chat. Yeah, we want to have a Lady Freedom party. I can't believe, hey Mountain Mama, I can't believe that someone involved has told the truth. Where is their moral compass? I know, I can't believe it either. I really thought somebody was gonna come clean, you know. Hey, Detroit Rock City. I'm surprised too. I just can't believe it. It's crazy to me. It's really crazy to me. Oh, hey Jude says, question, why would you get your dog's nails clipped by someone who doesn't use the little grinder to take off the sharp edges? Hey Jude. Oh my goodness. Hey Kloops. Kloops said Seth said that she could have over medicated him, and I agree in my opinion. Yeah, absolutely. I could definitely see how that would happen. You know what I mean? Um, and maybe she did go and check in on him, and that's how she figured it out, you know? I don't know. That is a good point, Kloops. Thank you. I think they would have checked. Yeah, Lil Redo, you could be right. She says, I think the phone call was an oh shit, I need help. Yeah, very possibly. Corruption and cover up, telling the truth says. Scranton Strangler says, I don't think, in my opinion, I think it's more like Seth said, he was over medicated either on purpose or not. But when he was taken out, he was not unalive, but maybe unconscious, just my opinion. Okay. Yeah, and I mean, that's very, very possible. Sorry, guys, I'm just going to cruise up a little bit in chat. My apologies. I try to read all your comments because they're so good. I did Detroit Rock City, but I was not impressed. I was not impressed. I didn't make the associations with what the lip reader was saying that Sebastian was saying, and I didn't even finish it, you know. And to be fair, I just kind of was like, See, Taylor says, I've always been curious about the work van. Same here, because there's a lot of things in there. Thank you, Denise. There's a lot of things in there that she could have used. Hey, Meg, good to see you. You're not late. You're a wizard. You arrived precisely when you mean to. Hey, Connie S., good to see you. All kinds of wizards. C. Taylor says, didn't LE just debunk that it was a person walking a dog, and then WSMV4 still went with it 1 year interview with, yes, they did see Taylor, and then at the end they were like, well, law enforcement did debunk this, but I think they just wanted to get the scoop, in my opinion, too. So Megan L says, we wonder why they put out an old pictures of them from the beginning, Texas Roadhouse first. I know, I agree. I don't understand why they wouldn't have just put, because like that one that's up to the right hand corner is a really good picture, I think, like where you can see Sebastian. And there's a couple other ones, even the ones like where he was, on walking on his toes, things like that. Hey, momming it up. Good to see you. So nice to see you. Cinderella says, in my opinion, they think he's still alive. It could be dangerous for Sebastian. Yeah, no, I can see that, Cinderella. Absolutely. Absolutely. Cece says, in my opinion, the original camper ended up on the West Coast with the socks and sold, while the feet were seen in Oregon. They flew out there and drove the camper, towed the vehicle home, and the socks flew back to Tennessee after. Oh, wow. That's very possible. Aw, thanks, Mommin. Sorry, guys. I'm just scrolling through a little bit to catch up. It is putting timestamps next to your comments, which I like because then I can see actually how far behind I really am. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much, Trishy. Hey, Kim. Wait, CP and KP were in the Navy intelligence and counterintelligence trained, yet they're going to follow the Wells playbook. Well, I do think so. And the reason is because of Chris's own words. He actually brought up the Wells and Summers case several times, and no one else was talking about it, at all. And he just, brought it up and said, I hope Sebastian's case doesn't turn into a Summer Wells. He also said, and I have a video on it too, go back and watch it, it's short. The same things in the first interview. Hey, KJ Mac, good to see you. So yeah, definitely. I could definitely see it. Hey, Juicy Jules. I can definitely see it. And Ann Reynolds says, I saw that someone showed some pictures of Drake's Creek flooded, and boy, it was so much water there now from the storms there. Yeah, I bet you the river's way up, and the creeks are way up, and that's a great point. Thank you. Thanks, hon. C. Taylor says, however, there has to be a balance. If overreacting, zero proof of Sebastian was overreacting. An eating disorder can result if someone's being restricted. Absolutely, C. Taylor. And, we've talked about that a little bit here before, because I know, like, most of the time, people might think that that's an issue that, us ladies have, us girls. Hey, Casey, so nice to see you. Thank you for coming in. And, but boys have it too, it's just a psychological disorder, really. And it's caused by many things, but restricting is absolutely, in my opinion, one of the reasons. You know, so thank you, C. Taylor. Perfectly Imperfect Boy Mom says, well, ADHD medications typically suppress appetite, but I believe risperidone increases the appetite. Yeah, Perfectly Imperfect Boy Mom, I do believe that as well. Like, the Addies, I don't know if I could say it, but Lori says, my youngest son had to have salad only diets, or he could play, or he couldn't play his pee wee football team because he was twice the size of the other kids. Aw. The other coaches are like, that kid can't play. Oh my goodness. They're like checking to make sure, they're like asking you for his birth certificate so they can make sure that he's really the age he is. Oh, goodness sakes. Hey, Gypsy Doll, good to see you. Good to see you. Good to see you. Meg says if they didn't want him eating shit food to where he needed to sneak it, they should have bought healthier food. Parrot fail, in my opinion. Totally, Meg. And there's a lot of like really good options, like for sugary stuff, that they could have bought. Like, well, for instance, what Seth had was those granolas. Those are good. Those are still good, and they satisfy your sweet tooth. But it's like healthier stuff because it's like granola, and sometimes they have nuts in there and stuff like that, which is really super healthy. Thanks, Meg. Thanks, guys, for hitting that thumbs up. Hey, Betty, good to see you. Betty H says, Sebastian Wayne, Drake Rogers. Thanks, guys. Detroit Rock City says, my nephew always got in trouble for eating all the ice cream and put the empty container back with a spoon in it. That's funny. It wasn't me. Hey, Mama. Good morning. Oh, is Seth in here? Did I miss your comment, Seth? Good to see you, Seth. Thank you for being here. Thank you so much. I hope you're doing well as can be expected. There's Seth. Hey, good to see you, Seth. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Lori says, when my son was a teen, he was tall, slim, and one eating machine. I'm telling you, some kids, they could really put the food back. Well, boys, I've seen boys, and girls even too. And it's like, my goodness, it's like, where do you put all of that? Just high metabolism. And then also sometimes they're real active, so they're just always working it off. And, James Silver on the Scene did a video about that bridge. Oh, couponing. Okay. See, I don't get to catch as many as I really like to on Silver's, because he's very good. He and Silver's too are very good. Detroit Rock City says, my nephew always got in trouble for eating all of the ice cream. Oh, sorry, guys. That's why I'm behind again. I'm behind again. James Cooper. Thanks, Cece. Thanks, guys, for the green hearts. You guys are awesome. Can we have our green hearts and prayer hands in the chat? Wave for Sebastian. All right. Hey, Jude. There you go. Thank you, guys. Yeah, Gypsy Doll, I thought the lip reading was off, in my opinion as well. And, no disrespect. I mean, that's awesome for trying, right? I mean, I was really curious when I clicked on the video. I was like, oh, this looks good, but then I was like, yeah, that's right. C. Taylor, Sebastian Strong. It's just so hard to tell. And, in my opinion, from what I saw, Sebastian's head was kind of down. He didn't look like it was like a fun conversation, right? As a matter of fact, I didn't see him smiling a whole lot in the video that I can recall. He smiled at the waitstaff. He was very polite to them. He did, Detroit Rock City, and it's always bothered me that they've had plenty of time to switch the campers. Absolutely. Smiley played a clip earlier that I listened to quickly too. It was like, when Chris was saying that, which he never did answer the question, but what took you so long, basically, because of course campers are very much, for convenience, and basically you travel in it, you get to where you're going, you pop out, you set everything up, and then whenever you're ready to leave, you take everything in, which, shouldn't take too long unless it's a mess, but they seem pretty tidy in my opinion, and then you pull the slide-ins in and, get those all in and load her up, and, you're ready to go. So, it's strange. It's strange that it would take him that long. And like I said, he never did answer why it took him that long, because theoretically, if we were to say, okay, 3.5 hours there, right, and 3.5 hours back, that's 7. So what happened to the other 10 hours, right? So even if we were to give him 3 hours to pull everything in and get everything, because I will say you do have to empty the, for those of you who have ever seen National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, Uncle Eddie's out there. He's like, the itter's full, but with in the beginning, you got to empty that out. But again, it doesn't take long, especially in the newer rigs. I mean, it's very efficient. Most of them like have their own gauges on them, when they're full, different things like that. So, and I know because I've lived in an older one and I've lived in a new one. So I have a new one now. And Carla says, I had a deaf friend I worked with. Her mother said when lip reading, you only get about 40% right. Yeah, exactly, Carla. Thank you for reminding me too. So I took ASL when I went back to college before my divorce, right? So I had to drop out. But either way, I took ASL because I wanted to be a special ed teacher. And whenever we were learning, they used to have a night, Friday nights, they would do deaf chat where you would go. And I thought that would be a good way to really become really good at sign language, American Sign Language. And, I met a lot of people, and that was one of the topics that we had discussed too, is that, lip reading is kind of very inaccurate, but some people are pretty good at it. And so I kind of wanted to see if how accurate it was. And I mean, I was not really convinced, but you're right. It's a very small percentage, and it's very difficult. It's also very hard for, um, children of deaf adults and things like that. When you're looking at, which they call them codas, by the way. But when you're looking at how they have to communicate with each other, and and then also, how some children wouldn't be taught ASL, and so they would that was how they had to understand other people, was to read their lips, right? Because they didn't have any other way of understanding what people were saying if they're profoundly deaf. Um, so thank you for that comment, Carla. That's really smart. I appreciate you jogging my memory, because boy, that was a long time ago. Hey, Anna Marie, good to see you. Meg, hearing Edgar's voice makes me disgustingly sick. Me too. And I was like on overload the other day. I was like, oh my gosh. That's why I was like, I think I need a beach day early. But then I didn't even end up going. I was still working on stuff yesterday. But Connie S says we will never stop talking about Sebastian until he's found and justice is served. That's right, Connie S. Thank you so much. Hey, Lady Dog Lover, good to see you. Thanks for being here. Connie 100. Couponing says, what was the purpose for KP to stop at Warsham's? She didn't mention it in Dateline interview. Anything about Warsham's. And I understand people might say, well, Lady Freedom, this is a whole year later. Excuse me, I don't want to cough on you guys. This is a whole year later, and maybe her recollection is going to be a little bit different, and maybe that's why she didn't have maybe that's why it was off or something like that, but I don't think so. I think she deliberately changed some of the details. She never mentioned Sebastian taking the trash out either, but you're just starting your day. Hey, Sam? Denise says, I'm completely deaf in my right ear and didn't agree with the lip reader. Yeah, Denise. Well, that's another thing too. I bet you it's a little bit easier for you to read lips because you can hear a little bit and then you can decipher it. So thank you for letting us know. Casey. James Coover says Carla H. and even lower percentage with trying to read them of such off not such a great video, right? Yeah, because the camera angle, right? Like, so if we're looking exactly at each other, there might be some things that we can, because everybody says B, you know what I mean? Like sometimes you can get, well, like Carla said, probably 40% would be a good, good number. I can agree with that, definitely. Yeah. More of a side view. Exactly, Carla. Exactly. Megan L says, when I was younger, I used to eat so much before my monthly that I didn't eat much because I didn't feel good, and I couldn't imagine someone not allowing me to eat. Well, exactly. And it's just like there's no reason for it. It's not like he was in an unhealthy, it's not like he was, I'm sure, I guess what they were saying he was eating was unhealthy. Like he would want to go get snacks and treats, right? I mean, he's a kid. He's going to want to go get treats. I don't blame him there. But yeah, and it's kind of like, and sometimes kids need the boundaries. I get that. I'm not trying to knock them for putting boundaries up, but I mean, a camera, that's extra, 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 totally extra in my opinion. I can't tell you all about anorexia. I can tell you all about anorexia. Mine was a result of needing to be perfect in my father's eyes. Oh, Lil Redo, thank you for sharing that. I'm so sorry. Yeah, and that's a great point too. That is another reason why, that would develop, right? Just wanting to that perfection, and I can relate to that just in like being a perfectionist. I have to remind myself of that too. I have to be like, um, even like a video that I might put up, it's like if one little thing is off or I'm like, "Oh, man," and I didn't catch it, I get like it causes me anxiety, I'm like, "Dang it," and then I'm like, "Oh, I can't unload it and then reload it again," and then or sometimes that's what takes me so long is because 'cause I'll keep watching it over and over to make sure there's no mistakes, and it's like, you're gonna make mistakes, so, but yeah. Yeah. Perfectionism is another thing that is just, that kind of that ugly little gremlin sometimes that sits on and tells us we're not good enough. But, you know, you are very loved, my friend. Very, very loved. And Hey Jude says, Meg, no kid should be restricted from a good, healthy food. That's so true, Hey Jude. And what's a good snack? What's a good snack? What's a good snack? You want to know what a good snack is? I think is like an apple. Like you could cut the apple up and then like the caramel dip. Usually those are like really low calorie, and portion it out for them and say this is as much as you can have. I mean, I don't agree with saying you can't have anything, but I mean, give healthier options. That is so true. Yogurt with granola in it. Now, I don't know if Sebastian liked yogurt, but Greek yogurt is so healthy and good for you. Um, and you make it fun, and there's certain things that you can make really, really fun. Um, you know, I don't know. I've always been the type of person that's how I show my love is through food. A lot of it is. My daughter would tell you that. Um, and so I just don't understand. Jen says, in my opinion, police department bungled badly. With that being said, I bid all you beautiful people a good night. Thank you, Jen. Thank you so much. Yeah, in the beginning, I feel that. I feel that. I'm really keeping the faith that they're working hard for him, though, now. I really think they are probably, if I was them, I'd be scorned like a mug for believing the crap. By the way, those protein drinks are good when kids are always hungry. They help fill them up with all that food. You know what? We were talking about the one live. People were saying that carnation instant breakfast stuff is really good, and that was like a chocolatey thing. And Sebastian seems to like chocolate, so that would be really good because it like they put the vitamins and stuff in there. So that's such a good idea, like something like that, like a supplement, to fill them up. Another really good snack is like smoothies and stuff like that. I don't know if Sebastian likes smoothies, but Katie said that he liked fruit and stuff and didn't mind trying different fruits and stuff like that. He seemed like he ate healthy though. Like tofu is like really healthy, right? And then like even fish is super healthy. Um, oh, don't feel bad, Lori. Don't feel bad. Oh my goodness, Carla. Oh, honey. Yeah, it's just so dangerous, and we don't realize how much we're hurting ourselves, That's oh, thank you, Sammy. That's so sweet. Well, you guys help me with the drama in here because you guys could start drama at any given time, and I'm just not that I'm giving you ideas, but like, you guys could start crap in here, and I wouldn't even know it half the time till I get down here 30 minutes later. Okay, who said what to who, and so you guys really help me with that. I really appreciate it because I can't take it. It's too much. Like I said, if I like want to watch drama, I'll go watch, like Jersey Shore or something. And Cece says, good idea, Lori. I'm going to try that with my 13-year-old. Oh, that's awesome, Cece. Ah, Town Chat Cafe. That was a beautiful poster. I love that. I put it on my Facebook. And then I think, well, I put it in the other video too. that I made the other day. Yeah. I like it because it's green and it's got hearts on it. It's so cute. Betty says, Seth, good to see you in here. Oh, I really hope Sebastian's found soon. Thank you, Betty. It's so boring. Hey, Jude says, Sammy, drama is so boring to me. It is boring and it's frustrating, right? It's like stressful also. Like, not only is it like, most people don't even want to deal with it because you're right, Jude, it's boring, but then also like it's stressful too. It could just causes issues and problems and, well, and you guys have good heart. You guys are also good-hearted, Um, Aw, thank you, Connie S. Thank you guys. Thank you, Lori. You guys are the best. Holly S says, Jude, I am so in caps sick of it. Oh my gosh. I was on a channel today and immediately changed it. Oh my gosh, I know. And it's like, but sometimes it is like a train wreck, right? Like you're sitting there watching it and then like before you know it, like, it's 20 minutes later and you're like, where did that, I will never get that 20 minutes back again, you know? Well, and it's all designed to just cause chaos and hurt others. And it's not worth it. Denise says, when I was diagnosed with Hashimoto's thyroiditis, I hope I said that right, I had to learn by myself on a new diet and I was 180 and in 7 months down to 140. Oh, that's wonderful. Yeah, 125. That's so good, Denise. Yeah. And see, I think that's really what it is. I think it's about like how you feel comfortable, right? If you're feeling comfortable and if it's causing health issues and then you're able to take off some of the weight, that's really healthy and good. That's awesome because that way, you feel comfortable, you're healthier, and always under the guidance of a doctor because sometimes we can lose too much and it can cause health problems still, so it's like a good balance is very necessary. But like I said, I've known about children who have, eaten and stuff, and then some children who, and this, in my opinion, has nothing to do with like Sebastian in comparison, because Sebastian obviously was good at taking care of himself, like learning life skills and putting them into action and things like that. He knew how to do that sort of thing. But some children who are, more severely autistic or more profoundly autistic, there will be times where they don't know like when to stop, right? So food has to be kind of put up and then given, but there's, like I said, and again, there's no comparison in my opinion to Sebastian in that case. Just like I don't see the behavioral. I mean, and, I didn't know him. I don't see him in every circumstance, right? We do know that he was working through therapies and things like that, and that's what helps with things like meltdowns or, coping socially and different things. But in my opinion, the tag video that we saw, very kind and very gentle with others, very courteous. Some boys, they're over there, they're bashing around, and you're like, be careful of the little girls, but not with Sebastian. Again, the Christmas video, I think it was a Christmas pageant. Again, kind, courteous, serving others, helpful, loves to help, right? We've heard that again. I believe even Chris said that. Loves to help, right? Texas Roadhouse video, polite, well-mannered, respectful, even to wait staff, friendly, very lovable, very, very lovable. Hey Jude says, Holly S. I just spent 6 weeks documenting and reporting some bad people day at night. Hey Jude. You have to. I'm telling you guys, if you deal with people like that, we went over that before, but I mean, that's my best advice is just report. um, document, paper trail, because, it's important too, even if you feel like you're being silly, honestly, um, because it just escalates if not. Oh, amen, C. Taylor. I appreciate clip channels so I can be informed of the crazy a bit, but have to listen for hours and be informed of what's happening. Amen, C. Taylor. I'll tell you what, but I try so hard because I always want to make sure I'm getting the right information and context. And so I find myself like watching like a clip channel and then I go back and still watch the whole dang thing, if I can. So um oh guys, I'm sorry. I just noticed that I don't have my other phone in here and I bet you it's in the bedroom still plugged into the charger. I'm sorry if I'm missing texts and stuff. I just realized that. Oh, thank you, Town Chat Cafe. I appreciate that. I will check. I just realized that I don't have it with me. Yeah, KG Max says I still feel confused regarding the camper swap and pickup. I do too. And I feel like there could be more to it. Especially listening to Chris's responses on it. It's definitely something that is questionable. And KJ Maxx says, "What is this lip reading talk? I'm completely out of the loop on the topic." Yeah, so one of the other creators paid for a company that does lip reading service. So basically, they will um, just try to decipher someone's that's talking in and they're claiming to be like a lip reading service. But I I just didn't see what they were seeing, and you know, but that's kind of what we were talking about. And then somebody said that most lip reading is about 40%. You can catch about 40% of whatever the person is saying. So, um, and the angle, we also talked about how the angle was an awkward one for that purpose. Like it's not like we're looking at Sebastian speaking to us in front of us, like you know, spot on, um, at a direct angle and stuff like that. So yeah, Carrie Star, it's too much. Hey, Adam Forever 21, good to see you. Yeah, absolutely. Hey, Jude. If Seth Rogers, if there's anything you would like to post, drop the link for that. Absolutely. Absolutely, Seth. That's why I gave you a wrench too. And then also just so we know that it's actually you, because we know how people like to clone accounts and be weirdos. Um, Little Red says this happened when I was a teenager and I made straight A's, etc. But we rode horses every weekend. My dad expected me to look perfect at all times, and he spent a lot of money on our horses. Yeah, and I know that you know, a lot of those competitions are based on that too, Lil Red. I'm a little bit familiar with that. So, um, and Town Chat Cafe says, here's the thought. Maybe CP did come home that night. Maybe he drove his motorcycle back to the area and borrowed TB or CB's vehicle or someone from the area that is a close friend of his. Well, Town Chat Cafe, the only reason I don't think that Chris had his motorcycle with him was because I heard that his trailer was at the house. So he really couldn't have hauled it down there. Um, but that's the only reason I think that. Oh, okay, great, Sammy. Sammy said, I took ASL too, and my 3-year-old nonverbal daughter is learning some now. Oh, that's wonderful. I just think it's so cute. The baby sign language is so adorable. Like, I don't know, it's really neat. And a lot of the sign language, I thought it was interesting, and I wrote a paper on it. But it was about how it's something that you can almost use universally, because a lot of the signs you can kind of tell what they are. Like they make sense, I guess is what I'm trying to get at. And you can kind of show that, and it's almost universal. So I think that is so cool. And it kind of gets your brain to thinking in a different way too, even if it's, even if children are verbal, it just kind of gets your brain thinking in a different way. So I love that. Lori says, is the rumor true that CB was caught on a trail cam at the store? I don't know, Lori. That's a good question. And you guys can feel free to, give your thoughts in the chat. Carla says the girl worked with a group 12 women for 5 years and no one could talk to her. I learned the alphabet over a 15-minute break and she always told me I mumbled when I talk sign language. Carla, that's cute. That is really cute. I can't imagine what they probably thought about me at first. They're probably like, okay, get it together, sister. Detroit Rec City says, KJ, Julie paid for a lip reader to analyze the Texas Roadhouse footage. It was earlier, but I didn't watch it. Yeah, I mean, you guys might find it interesting. I definitely recommend going over and checking it out. I mean, can't hurt. I was just not, but like I said, it's just everything that I know about lip reading and stuff like that. And it's, I even remember our instructor saying like, lip reading isn't legit, but I still was interested. I was like, oh, I'll click on this. This is an interesting topic. You know what I mean? So Carrie Starr says KJ Mackey was gone 17 hours to pick up his camper. And it is said he took to his parents and brought home a different camper, a new one. Yeah, absolutely. And that's concerning to me, James Cooper says they're talking about a creator that had a lip reader to try and make out what was said in the Texas Roadhouse video. Thanks, James. I would think so too, Connie S. I would think she would remember everything about that day, and it would just be more, you wouldn't be changing it up, especially after telling a story over and over and over and over again, it would probably stay the same in my opinion, so Sammy says, was re-listening to an interview of the neighbors across the street, and Sebastian was very well mannered and kind. Yeah, came over and helped with the yard work. I don't know if Seth ever heard that. Oh, that's sweet, Sammy. Thank you. Yeah, I could see that. You know what I mean? Just the video, the small amount of videos that I watch, like, right? I mean, it's a little window in, and I always saw him to be very respectful and kind and well mannered. I don't know. So thank you. I agree. Anne says we are getting rain and it rained all day. Oh gosh, no, and all night and all day tomorrow. Oh, Anne, this darn rain for you guys. I'm so sorry. That's annoying. I like the rain, but not like for, a whole entire week. And Meg says it's amazing because it's over a year later and I feel as if it was just yesterday, except I'm more pissed off these days. Yeah, really, Meg. It doesn't really seem like a whole year, right? Because it just went by so fast. I feel like that too, you know. But there were points in time where I just felt like it was taking forever, because I was like, I thought that he would be found and, I thought we'd have more information and things like that, Absolutely. Hey, Jude, thank you. I agree. Nobody gives a flying crap, or I'm sorry, I added the flying part. Nobody gives a crap which watch Seth wears. Exactly. Yeah, Seth had his watch at work that night. He's got his time card to prove it, and he passed the polygraph. KJ Max says Carrie started the 17-hour tour they let him on is baffling. Yeah, that they let him go on is baffling. I agree, KJ Mac. I still don't feel like I have a grasp on why the camper needed to come home when the Bowerstocks already have one. It's so weird. I agree. I agree. And, how did that get past law enforcement? You know what I'm saying? Um, Carla, oh my gosh, that makes me incredibly angry. I am so very, very sorry. There is no reason for that, no reason at all. That had to have made you feel horrible and ugh, just talking bad about your sisters and the kid. Oh my gosh. And those men, they just control and they want to take, and I mean, I think a lot of us can relate to those kinds of threats from, if you've ever been in a marriage that has, had ABUSE in it, because those are the tactics. They go after your family, your kids, the people that you love the most, and they, um, you know, try to intimidate and control through those behaviors, and it's absolutely awful, absolutely awful. I'll tell you, we have a strong community of women though that got out of those situations. So I hope that hearing stories and talking about it helps other women realize that they don't have to stick around and deal with that. It's not easy to leave, but you can, and once you do, you realize that you know, she should have done it a long time ago, but it's very, very dangerous. Yeah, any fruits and vegetables would be good. And even like, putting and I don't know because, with kids who are on the spectrum or people who are on the spectrum, sometimes there's sensory issues, right? We do know that Sebastian had some sensory issues, but even like celery with peanut butter on it or something is a really healthy treat too. Um Trolls are stupid, hey Jude. There's no cure for stupid. Um James says, not only that, but you have to remember not all words roll off your lips, but actually your tongue. Amen, James. That is so true. More in my opinion and personal experience with having deaf uncle from birth, and thanks to him, I learned the alphabet. That is cool. That is so cool, James. Well, I'm so glad that you were willing to learn. Some people are not willing to learn. And, that's their loss, in my opinion. So I think that is so cool. And I appreciate you learning to communicate with somebody who is having difficulties and meeting them where they're at, because that's what we talk about a lot here. And that's something that we don't see when we look at Sebastian's environment at his mother's house, in my opinion. That is something that I've always recognized in Seth's recollection and experience with what he says. I've always been able to relate to what he was saying and how he was trying to help Sebastian and meet Sebastian where he was in order to help him thrive. And as Seth would say it, set him up for success instead of failure. So thank you. It is so beautiful. It is so beautiful, Hey Jude. Um, and it can be really funny too, because I don't know if you guys remember Napoleon Dynamite, but he does sign language and it was hilarious. Um, Give me just 1 second, guys. I'm gonna go grab a tea really quick. I'll be right back. I'm sorry, I usually have this stuff beforehand, but give me 1 sec. Pretty, pretty please. Okay, guys, sorry about that. And I put on my little air conditioner, so I'm sorry if you could hear a little bit of static, but um yeah, I think it's interesting, KJ Mac. That's why I checked it out. I was like, that looks pretty interesting. I'm gonna watch that for a little bit. But then I was like, yeah. Well, and again, like even like different kinds of like peanuts and stuff, maybe like even the chocolate covered ones wouldn't be a bad snack. I mean, in moderation. And Sammy says the things about Worshams came out in 2 weeks. My recollection was CB was first down road seen by 3 people, and they were going to ask landowner about the trail cams, then in the parking lot with bags of eggs for a different store. Oh wow, Sammy. Okay, I did hear that. Yeah. Yeah, it tastes like just like chocolate milk, perfectly imperfect boy mom. Yeah, the carnation instant breakfast does taste like that because yeah, my daughter liked it too. Ooh, I love frozen bananas, Meg. Have you ever had the chocolate covered ones? Like they taste like ice cream. It's so weird. Those are so good. That would be such a good stack. Good, I said stack, snack, and really really healthy because like the ones that I used to get, man, I want to get some of those now. They're dark chocolate, and really, really good. Hey, Brenda Brown, good to see you. And like I said, you would think it was ice cream, but it's a banana. Like it's a slice of banana. They're like little round things, and they come in like a package. But like, it's so good. But you can even make those like something fun, like for a treat. You know what I mean? And stick them in the freezer. So you could do those homemade. Ooh, that's good. Yeah, with ice cream. Ooh, Carla, that's a good idea too. Adding ice cream to the carnation breakfast thing. Yeah. I don't know if he's still here. Oh, here we go. Yeah, Seth says also with more drama, less people want to help or even report on it. Then people listen to the false information and have less or have even less of the situation. Right, exactly, Seth. And I'm so sorry that's happening to you because um that has to be so frustrating and it has to be infuriating really to deal with that because you're right, the more drama, less people are going to want to help and they're not going to even want to report on it because they don't want to attract the negative attention, right, in my opinion. And then when people listen to the false information, there's even less that it's a bad situation. Even less people want to be involved because good people don't like the drama. They just don't. They don't want to be involved in it, and it's so wrong. It's completely wrong. So thank you, Seth, for letting us know how you feel about it because I appreciate you sharing your feelings and thoughts on it. That's right. Hope Float says we keep the drama out of here. We do. And it's hard. Um, Thank you, Seth. Seth says, be blessed, everyone, and stay safe. Hashtag Sebastian Strong. Hashtag keep the faith. And we will. We will, Seth. Thank you so very much for being here. And you take care of yourself, okay? We're gonna keep on talking about Sebastian. Thank you. And we're praying for you, Seth. We are. Um, and no one's gonna say anything bad in here. Um, Debbie says what? Hey. Debbie says what? Says hey, Lady Freedom and everyone. Meow says, oh, Seth, did you get email? Totally agree. Detroit Rock City. Cece says right, Seth, but I have reported the nasty channels constantly, but YouTube does nothing, and they are still here. I know, Cece, and it's so frustrating. I mean, I can see them allowing some silliness, right? Because it's YouTube. But I don't know why they allow for that. And I don't know why they don't take out the people that are really, really bad. I don't understand that either. I think it's because it makes them a lot of money. I'm working on something behind the scenes. And I think that you guys will understand kind of a little bit more on the reason why YouTube is probably not taking care of it as they should, like in terms of service and things like that. So, thank you, Connie S. Says, Seth, thank you for coming in. We appreciate you. That's so sweet of you. Brenda says, hey, Seth, I'm still praying for you and Sebastian and that he comes home to you soon. Aw, thank you, Brenda. Thank you. Thank you. Lil Red says, it did he realize it after his first husband was... Oh, okay. Sorry, guys. I didn't realize that was a side conversation. C. Taylor says the Christmas video was precious. He was helping that little girl. So very sweet. I know. Cece said this is a good channel, Seth. No nastiness over here. Aw, thanks, Cece. And Sammy says getting my kids to eat has been the hardest thing. I'm happy when she will eat anything at this point. So she is too stick thin, and I'd love for her to eat anything at any time. So I don't understand restriction. Right, Sammy? And that's the thing. I mean, I don't understand it either. Because I do know, like, a lot of times people will have, like, again, on the spectrum, like the sensory issues, so it is hard to find different things to eat. And sometimes they only want to eat like a certain thing that, we all know we kind of have to have like a variety of different things. So it's so hard. So gosh, I'm going to be praying that she'll eat soon. A good friend of mine, his grandson is on the spectrum, and they were thinking about possibly maybe putting a feeding tube because he wasn't eating because of texture, right? Like he would do chicken nuggets and, that was it. It was like trying to get him to eat other things. It was very difficult. And it was a sensory issue, Oh, I love bananas and peanut butter. Oh my gosh, me too, Detroit and Meg. That's another really good snack, right? Banana and peanut butter sandwich. Have you guys ever like grilled that before? Did somebody else say that? Gosh, that's a good snack. I don't know, snack. It could be like a meal, really. I can never see Seth. Oh, anyone say hello? Oh, I can never see him. How weird is that, Baba Rose? Yeah, he's in here. He's got a wrench too, so maybe, I don't know. That's weird. Aw. Hey, Jude. How sweet. Aw, Detroit says, Seth, you and Sebastian are always on my mind, in my heart, and in my prayers. Much love and hugs from D-Town. Aw. Detroit, that's so sweet. Aw. Little Red. You guys are so sweet. Adam Forever says, I've been down with a back disc. What's the story on the clothes at the landfill? True stuff or bullshit? Bullshit. I love you, Adam Forever 21. That's so funny. I hope you get to feeling better. My goodness, that's never fun. Aw. So basically, the word is that there was a bag of clothes that were possibly Sebastian's, allegedly Sebastian's, that were found at the landfill. I know there was talk about Katie putting some clothes in a donation box, which isn't, it's not crazy. I mean, I do that with my clothes too. I'll donate them. So, I don't know if she threw some clothes out and they ended up finding them, but that would be odd for her to throw out clothes of Sebastian so soon after he went missing, right? Like, I don't know. And then I also know other parents who have missing children and things like that, or even our friend Jana, right? Like she tried to get Crystal's belongings from Tony, but he put them in a storage and wouldn't allow her to have any of them, So So typically when we lose someone, like anything of theirs we want, right? Because it's sentimental. I don't know why she would do that. Georgia May, good to see you, Georgia May. Is that not the photo you would? Oh, Georgia May, you can just, let's see. Oh, you can be banned for life. There's that for you. And Sam says, if you can't see some comments, click on the lines in the top corner and then click all comments. Then you should see all. Oh, thanks, Sam. I appreciate that. I usually can see everybody's comments, so that's what's weird. Aw, that's so sweet, Brenda. Oh, I hope that it goes well for you, hon, with your injection. Oh my goodness. That is never fun. Never fun. Thank you, Hey Jude. Hey Jude says Adam Forever 21. I think the timing is wrong. Way after the landfill search. Okay, so it was a different. Okay, thank you, Hey Jude. Because I was kind of wanting to talk about that tonight and just kind of see what your thoughts were as well. So I'm glad that you guys brought that up too. So thank you, Adam Forever 21. It was really interesting to me, and then it made me think about the clothes that were donated, and then it made me think about why. Yeah, I don't think the lip reading thing was a big deal, Lori, just because I don't know, I just wasn't following it. You know what I mean? Oh, floats. Cece says, I don't know, Little Red. I'm not sure many people have connected the dots with that yet. I did mention to At Night. Yeah, that's great. That's great, Cece. C. Taylor says, Seth Rogers, Sebastian's father, thank you for sharing Sebastian with us. Amen, C. Taylor. Thank you. That's such a kind and thoughtful comment. Carla says, OMG, Little Red, I'm so sorry. That would have been very hard to go through. Always word salad from Chris, Holly S. Hey, Jude, we can't say the word drama or they come. Just kidding. If you want to summon a troll, just say drama and they're here. They can't help it. It's like there's a little like disturbance in their force, and then they just go exactly where they're like, drama over here, where? I'm just kidding. That's terrible. Dang, I don't even see Seth with the wrench. Yeah, he should be. Did he not have a wrench? I'm gonna have to make sure. See, and that's another thing. Dang it. I'm gonna have to make sure in the replay and make sure that he's got a wrench. Yes. Lil Redo says, Seth Rogers, good to see you here with us. That's so sweet. Thanks, guys, for being so kind and loving, because that's how we fight the bad. And Carla says, Detroit Rock City, I love peanut butter too. I was to eat every 2 hours to gain weight, so I had peanut butter cups beside my bed. I would wake up and eat a pack of them and go back to sleep. Aw, Carla. Those are like the best. Peanut butter cups are the best. I don't know whoever thought of those. I even like, what are the ones? There's like pretzel ones. Oh, those are so good. See, first we're talking about healthy, but now we're talking about like chocolate and peanut butter. And Town Chat Cafe says, oh, I thought I heard from somewhere he drove it to the bar one night. Well, I unless maybe he borrowed somebody else's, that could be possible. Or maybe he had it down there at one point and then brought it back home, and left it, which is possible. Hey, Debbie says what? Town Chat Cafe says, okay, I thought I heard from someone. Okay, sorry. Oh, sorry. Wrong one. Loretto says, when you have children who live in or who learn in different ways than other children, you learn how to help them. You have to teach how they learn. It works. My baby has chosen University of Texas for college. Yeah, absolutely, Loretto. And you have to figure out, we all have different learning styles. You know what I mean? We do. It's just part of, how we learn. And no, not everybody learns the same way, even when you're not on the spectrum. So I appreciate your comment. Yeah, I agree. I agree, Sam. Someone knows something, and it's way past time to speak up. First to squeal gets the deal, in my opinion. Amen. Well said, Sam. Well said. Hey, shoot. I know everyone, so I know the trolls too. I love when people do those eyeballs. That makes me laugh so hard. Mhm. Oh, yeah, that's good. That's good, Detroit. Yeah. Yeah, eat a lot of protein because I don't eat meat very often. Also, I eat eggs and a lot and cheese. Yeah, like I used to not eat meat a lot when I was a kid either. And like my parents would be like, "What the hell's wrong with this kid?" But I would eat chicken and I'm like, I'm not gonna eat meat, but I'll eat chicken and eggs. Like that's all I would eat. And cheese. Oh gosh, yeah. Yeah. I wasn't like trying to go vegan or anything. I was definitely um a strange little kid. I don't know. I think I saw something. I don't remember what really tipped me off. I think it was more or less I just didn't like want animals getting killed. But then my parents were like, "Well, what about the chickens?" Oh boy, that's funny. But no, you're right. And then also like nuts and stuff. I don't know if you like nuts, but those are always good to get the protein in and things like that. It's surprising how much protein is in different things too. Um, so Ah, hey Jude says Loretto is part of loving your children. My child is my whole heart. Ah, exactly. We just want the best for them, and I don't know. It's hard. Bad actor says Katie is displaying signs of story contamination, a common deception tactic where a suspect adjusts their narrative over time. Boom. Bad actors. If you put that in my comments, it'll get pinned. That's a very intuitive, smart comment. Katie is displaying signs of story contamination, a common deception tactic where a suspect adjusts their narrative over time. Well said. Hey, sweet sativa, good to see you. Hey Jude, amen. So true, says Mammon. Three bios, three adopter, and each has their own ways for sure. Yeah, adopted. Yeah, absolutely. And all kids are different. Like all people, right? Everybody's unique. We're all unique. Um, that's wonderful, little Redo. I'm so proud of him too. He was offered UT and Texas A&M, and he finally chose this weekend and signed his acceptance letter. I'm so proud of him. That is wonderful, little Redo. I'm so proud too. That's why we raise strong kids, Hope Float says. I agree. See Taylor. No, no cure for stupid. Just Google it, y'all. That's so funny. Let's all be naughty while the teacher's out of class. Hey, Lizzie and Kurt, is that when I went to go get? Is that when I went to go get a tea? You guys. While the cat's away, the mice will play. No, now I don't get the man upset over the AC. LOL. Just kidding. That's funny, little Redo. I can't handle it. I'm sorry. I was sitting over here and I was like, it's kind of getting warm in here. I try to turn the big one off though, because it's like right over, like by my head, and so it's loud. But this one's working great. Like it's a little bit lower. Oh, I'm so glad you got power back, Mom. And oh my gosh, you guys have been really going through it with this weather. My Lord. I'm like, Baba Rose says, did y'all know I just learned recently that fruit is very bad for your kidneys? Oh, my sister had open heart surgery and kidneys was not working. Doctor said no fruit. Wow, I didn't know that. Huh, that's interesting, Baba Rose. Was it certain types of fruit or was it everything they restricted? And Carla says, Detroit, I made homemade peanut butter cups. Ooh, yes. Yes, I've made those. Those are one of my Christmas candies that I like to make. Except I just put in cake pan and make bars. That way I can eat a whole row at once. That's so funny, Carla. Oh no. The playroom got wet. Oh no. I'm hoping so too, Brenda, with that reward that someone comes forward. I sure hope so. Aw. Mom says, "Hey Jude, that's great. I was packing the car, but listening, sending my prayers to you, Seth, if you're still here." Aw, that's so sweet, Mom. That is so sweet. YouTube does allow bullies. It's like as long as they make enough money off them, they're like, bully it up. I'm like, okay, wow, YouTube, good job. Debbie says, "What says YT is slacking on the bullying?" They do, and I guess they figure like if we don't like it, we don't have to watch it. But it's also because I say that too. But it's like I don't know. It's a little overkill in my opinion. Lil Redo says, or Sam says, laws are there to protect the criminal. In my opinion, they get a lot more protection than victims do. In my opinion, too. Sam, that's a good point. You know. That's true, Lil Redo. Yeah, enjoy the time with your babies when you can let them be a part of whatever you're doing, no matter their age. I agree. And also, excuse me, you don't get that time back, when they're little and they're wanting to be around you all the time, and then when they're older, they're, doing their own thing. So Detroit Rock City says, "My mom never bought junk food. We would cut bananas in half and put popsicle sticks in them and dip them in chocolate and freeze them." Oh my gosh, my all-time favorite. That sounds so good. I love that. When we were kids, my mom would do stuff like or my parents, they would be like, no pop until Friday, right? So then we'd have like, they'd order pizza and then we would get pop, and it was like a treat. So I mean, they did do that and stuff. Oh, Brenda Brown, thank you so much for your super sticker. Oh my goodness, thank you. How sweet of you. Thank you so much. Aw, that is amazing. YouTube gets a cut, remember, says Sammy. Exactly. Exactly. I am Two Bear says texture is huge with autism, food, clothing, bedding, footwear. It can be rough. Thank you, I am Two Bear. Thanks for being here. It's good to see you. And I agree with you there. And that was another thing that really bothered me with this other interview they just did. Sebastian wouldn't go anywhere. According to Katie, she said that Sebastian would not go anywhere that he knew bugs were there, right? So again, he's leaving the house barefoot in the middle of the night? No. Wrong again. Lori says, "I ate peanut butter and banana sandwich all the time as a kid, and now I don't like them at all." Really, Lori? Oh my goodness. And we were talking about chicken earlier. Oh, good night. I forgot about that. I forgot about that. That's right. Never be okay with bullying and always be anti-bullying. That's right. Hey, Jude, it's ridiculous. Yes, I love peanut butter and banana sandwiches. Toasted. Yes, Detroit. That's what I'm talking about. Oh, so good. It's like dessert. I mean, that could be like a really sweet treat, you know? Um, and see, Taylor says, "I worked in a psych hospital and eating disorders were always challenging. So sad." Yeah, it is really sad. Because one thing, like, because I've done a little bit of kind of research and things on, and like the body dysmorphia thing is really difficult, right? Because it's like they don't realize that, what we see is not what they're seeing, and that even though they think they're not thin, but they are, and it's, yeah. Well, I'm glad that they had you, see, Taylor, because you have a great heart. Very compassionate, understanding person. And that's what they need. That's what we all need. Who am I kidding? Aw, Brenda, you're so sweet. Thank you. Ooh, fried. Yes, Baba Rose. Maybe that's who I was thinking of. Fried peanut butter and banana sandwiches were Elvis's favorite sandwich. That's right. That's probably who I was thinking said that. Or I remember that from. Megan else says, since I started on bananas, how about this? Cream cheese, grape jelly sandwich. Ooh, that probably would be good. That would probably be like a cheesecakey kind of concoction. But that would be like a healthy kind of a different, I mean, because it's cream cheese isn't that bad, is it? Maybe I'm just saying that because I like cream cheese. It's not bad. It's good. It's good for you. Um, Lil Redo says, my child eats peanut butter and jelly with 2 slices of bacon, a drink pouch, and an apple every day for lunch. And he will not change it. It's his regimen of his Asperger's. And that's cool. And, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. So he likes like sweet and salty together, huh? Like that combination. That's interesting. I like that because I like the sweet and salty combination as well. And that's so wonderful of you to accommodate that too, Lil Redo. But you do that out of love, right? It's just the love kicks in and it's like instinctual in my opinion. So, um, yes, Gypsy Doll, anything with bananas or banana flavored, yummy. I'm like that too with watermelon flavored stuff. Um, Oh yeah, your Frenchies like bananas and green vegetables. Yeah, I try to give Django different options too. He loves sweet potatoes, and he'll eat anything though. That poor dog, I swear he will eat anything, and it worries me because I'm like, one of these days you're gonna eat something bad. But like he's so funny because like even one time like I dropped like a flaming hot Cheeto in the floor and he ate it. And I was like, okay, here we go. This is going to be the time where you get sick off of this, right? And he was just fine. I was like, okay. So he can eat spicy food. Oh, thank you. Okay. Hey, Jude, thank you. I didn't know that they would flag that. See, but we can bully each other until the cows come home, but heaven forbid we talk about disorders. Good night. It's awful. And I think that's what bothers me because it's hard to get awareness out there. Yeah, Meg says that sounds very typical with Asperger's. I've experienced the same. Yeah. Aw, Anne. I know, honey. What? Mama? She said, I love peanut butter and banana sandwiches grilled, but my all time favorite is peanut butter and pickles grilled. Oh my gosh, I had never tried that before. I have never tried that. Oh, I love pickles though. I love pickles. I like the dill. I'm weird though. I like dill pickles, and then I don't like the bread and butter pickles. But I like the ones that are like I've had like the sweet pickles with like habanero. So I like spicy and sweet. I don't know. It's weird. I'm weird with that though. But my all-time favorite is like a Clausen pickle. Is like the bomb. Um, Barbarossa Sam, I do that, but still never can see Seth. It's weird. That is in no one's chat. That's so weird, Baba Rose. Huh. Very strange. And Sam says CPA said on panel she had a clear out for food, and it was 2 weeks after he went missing allegedly. Oh, that they were clear out of food. Oh, I see. But 2 weeks after. See, I don't see that with going to those stores, because you buy those in bulk. I mean, it's bulk, like if you buy a thing of mayonnaise, like you get a jar of mayonnaise. You buy barbecue sauce, you're buying a whole thing of barbecue sauce. Um, Same thing, like even down to like the freezer stuff. Like say you buy like the taquitos or whatever, like you're getting a whole mess of taquitos. like, so you know. Oh, that is so wonderful, Mom, and thank you so much for his service. We really appreciate him out there. That is so wonderful. So so wonderful. I'm so glad you got to talk with him. Sammy. Sammy says, Nerd alert. I've spent a lot of time watching congressional hearings with the big social media CEOs in the last few years. Though YouTube has new CEO, I'm sure class action will come next few years. Too many harmed. I mean, really, it's just like they just have to do better. Like when they see bad behavior, like no matter what, no matter how much views the person has, you know. But I don't know. I'm sure it's hard to police all of us crazy people on YouTube. Meg, Edgar always talks as if he's educating someone after they ask a direct question and he deflects. Exactly. He sure does. Edgar always talks as if he's educating someone after asking. let me help you out with that. Okay. Let me make this crystal clear for you, and then he never makes it crystal clear. He never helps us out. I always wait, you know, and then silly me, I'm sitting here like, oh, he's gonna help us out. Just kidding. That was me like the first 2 months, you know, on YouTube. I'm like, oh, he's finally gonna help us. No, he never does. Never. It never happens. We're waiting patiently. We're like, you know, we're like the kids on the floor, you know, listening to the story, you know, just looking up at him. Help us, please. Please, Mr. Chris. Never helps us. Never, nothing's ever crystal clear either, you know. Oh, gosh. You guys, I love nerding out. C. Taylor says, just say drama and the drama forces are activated. They receive their assignments, the packets. That's so funny. Oh my goodness. Oh, that's too funny. Lori says, my schnauzer, Mr. Mason, eats raw and cooked carrots, broccoli, and cauliflower. Yes, carrots are so good. Django likes carrots. He does too. He really does. He's always like, "Oh, these are good and sweet," you know. I guess it's probably a lot like sweet potatoes though too. That's so cute. Thank you, Meg. Thank you. I was able to get my kids to eat by getting. Oh, that's a good idea. A kid's cookbook and making some things from it. Also, I had to have cool names for my meals, like cowboy casserole, cooked up junk, and they would eat it then. That is so cool. That is so cool. Yeah, Olivia would eat like broccoli if I said, because I said they're just baby trees, and she would eat that, and it was like, oh, finally, you know, because it was hard. She's a meat potatoes girl. Always has been. She likes fish too. Ah, see, Taylor, that's so sweet. I agree. All fruit, huh, Baba Rose? Oh, that's so weird to me. I thought fruit was healthy. They're always changing it up. They're always changing it up. Aw, Mom, and thank you so much for your super sticker. Thank you. How sweet of you. Thank you. Aw, that's awesome. New channel. Little Red, new channel coming, bullying it up. Starring Jack, the French Bulldog. Aw. Mm-hmm. It was bad, Vana. It was so bad. I thought I was in the Twilight Zone. I was like, what is happening? I'm like, no. But yeah, it was bad. I agree. Yeah, it was something else. Mm-mm. Butter Biscuit says, I believe if she did buy snacks, they were for Chris to keep his camper and wasn't bought for Sebastian. Oh, that's a good point, Butter Biscuit. Like, she could have been like divvying up the food too and giving some to Chris to keep in his camper while he was away. Yeah, that's a good point. I know, Loretto. Me too. I'm getting hungry over here. Because sometimes when I'm mad, but there's no need to wear out nasty language all day long on YouTube. Right, exactly. And there's like so much better ways to say it, you know. I was dropping some F-bombs that night. That night too, I was dropping some F's and some S's and some, you know, P's. I think I said I'm Pissed. Yeah. Like, ordering me peanut butter cups from Amazon. Hate you. Little check mark. Yeah, that helps too. Well, because a lot of times it's like, you want to keep looking to see, yeah, Lil Redo, I totally understand that. That's a good idea. He is sweet and salty. Aw, he's so cute. I love your little bulldogs. They're so adorable. Or Frenchies, rather. They're just so cute. But Butter Biscuit says, I also think Katie was playing the good mom by putting a blanket and snacks on the back porch. Yeah, Sebastian would have just went in the front door if he came home. I mean, Butter Biscuit, that is such a good point. I mean, the thing is that we kept hearing that Sebastian, when he uses any of the doors in the house, it's always mainly front door. And then Katie says, well, sometimes he does come in another door with me, which I'm assuming she's talking about the garage door, right? When she pulls her van into the, garage, and then they go in through the garage to the house. But, they said he uses the front door. So why are they putting out snacks in the backyard when he uses the front door? Great observation, great point, and I appreciate you for pointing that out, because it's just, to the point of ridiculousness, in my opinion. Oh, the little ones are so good. Hey, Jude. The little ones are so good. Sam says, why did she put a blanket and snacks out if he knew the code to the front door, allegedly, in my opinion? Good question, Sam. Ooh, yeah. Oh, Butter Biscuit, when I was babysitting years and years ago, I kind of had an arrangement, where somebody would drop off and then I would pick up, right? Our neighbor, because she worked a little bit late. And I put I made like the Ritz crackers with peanut butter fluff, and oh my gosh, the kids were going crazy. Their mom called and said, what'd you give them for the snack? They're just ranting and raving about it. And I told her, and I said, it's so easy and cheap, And I said, I'm glad they liked it, Yes. Oh gosh, see, Taylor, the dogs do I love they hate a greyhound. Love peanut butter. They do. It's so funny because they're like, I don't want to stick my tongue out. Somebody's going to get me on bad content myself. But yeah, it's just funny how their tongue goes. Megs, that's like Django. I have one dog that loves spicy Mexican food. She won't steal food unless it's a spicy tamale. I love that. She's waiting. I know you got a tamale up there. I can smell it. How cute. I haven't had tamales in a long time. I actually worked at a place that had Delta tamales, which are different than like the Mexican style tamales, but they're both really good. I like both of them. Good night, Betty H. Thank you so much for being here. Yeah. I love dill pickles. I like pickles, but my job made pickle soup. Pickle soup. Connie, that's too funny. Oh my goodness. I don't mean to hurt anybody's feelings that made it, but I never heard of pickle soup. That sounds so funny. I love that. The soup du jour is pickle soup. And Carla says, I want the big giant peanut butter cups for Christmas. A coworker brought me a 1 pound, oh wow, of 2 huge ones, and I ate both in a 15-minute break. Carla, I always say I do anything for peanut butter cups. I love that. That's so funny. I'll make the ones, I make them with crunchy peanut butter, and then I make them with just the smooth ones, so they're just a little bit different, but I love making the peanut butter cups. They're so good, and everybody loves them. And I make cake pops and stuff like that too. Hey Jude says the reason the word is flagged is people were sharing how-to videos. Oh no. I'm on social media. Oh gosh, those poor babies. See, and that's, oh my God, that breaks my heart. Hey Jude, that makes sense though. Thank you. Yeah, fluffernutters. Exactly, Detroit. You know. Oh yeah, my kids always love that fluffernutters. Exactly. Yes, peanut butter and bananas. Rest in peace, Elvis. Aw, thank you, C. Taylor. I love Elvis. Sam said that was meant to stay good. Oh, well, not food. Oh, yes. Thank you, Sam. Sorry about that. Fun of the pickle soup. That was cute on the Little Rascals too. The little one saying, "You want a pickle for a nickel?" Hey, Jude, taquitos are yum. Adding to the cart. You guys are buying snacks. Oh, Baba Rose, I have the same issues with Millie RN. None of us can see each other, and neither blocked. And YouTube is not help, no help whatsoever. It's so frustrating. That is so weird how you can't see each other. That's so weird. Oh, you've had pickle soup, so you know Detroit. My mom loved pickle soup. She also liked onion sandwiches. Oh my goodness. I've never heard of pickle soup. Me neither. I've heard of like pickle martinis, like a pickle teeny, you know, and you just like, instead of olive juice, you use pickle juice. But I hadn't either. Not something I would eat again. Oh, I kind of want to try it now because I'm curious. Oh my goodness. Good night, little Redo. Thank you for being here. Thank you so much. I know, Lori, I've tried to research it. No luck. Detroit, that sounds gross. My dad used to put ketchup on my mom's homemade pies. She was the best pie baker. People in the town always asking for her pies. Oh my goodness. Ketchup though, huh? That's interesting. Like I said, I like the sweet and spicy stuff. Yes, Connie S. Exactly. That's another thing I said to her too with the baby cabbages. And I don't even think she knew what a cabbage was. It was funny though. I was like, "Look at these little baby cabbages, aren't they cute?" And she's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "You want to eat them, please? Because you don't eat enough vegetables, you know." I used to make like tomato sauce, right? And I would like make homemade pizza, and I do spaghetti and stuff. And I would load the vegetables in there and like, puree everything and like make it so it would be like, so she would eat it. It was pretty funny. I'm like, you actually are eating like 12 servings of vegetables right now in this pizza just because, you know. Oh, I love broccoli sauce so much. It's addictive. She's better now. She's better now with stuff, but like when she was little, oh my gosh, I used to have to hide the the veggies big time. She'd eat fruit and stuff, but if you keep talking about food, I'm gonna get some candy at the Easter Mountain Mama. That's so funny. Yes. Oh, me too. Meow. I love peanut butter with syrup or honey on Ritz crackers. It's so good. I love that too. Like, I do that with pancakes sometimes. I'm the worst pancake maker, but yeah, peanut butter and syrup is a good combination, like maple syrup. And we were still talking about peanut butter variations. I do know I do like peanut butter and honey though also. Me too. Oh no, and your internet's out. Oh my goodness, you guys are really getting hit with those storms. Hey Shadow. Oh my goodness. Town Chat Cafe says, speaking of dog treats, my dogs just received 3 bags of the vegan flavor sticks with bacon and peanut butter. Oh, and it was buy 2 and get the third 50% off from Amazon. Oh, cool. I'm going to have to find those. I bet you Django would love that. I bet you he would love it. I gained 10 pounds reading this. Oh, yeah. Town Chat Cafe or Hey Jude. Yeah. We do the greenies too. Yeah, we do. Django actually doesn't mind getting his teeth brushed, which is really funny. He hates baths, but he doesn't mind his teeth being brushed. I don't know. I think it's because it's peanut butter flavored toothpaste, but Detroit. Yeah. Hey Jude says our little one loves greenies. The bigger one eats anything. Yeah, that's how Django is. He'll eat anything, and I'm like, dude, come on, you gotta calm down with that. But he doesn't care. He's just like if it's food, he'll try it. He doesn't mind. Um, just so you know, I'm still here, but playing Block Blast to avoid getting hungry with all this food talk. Perfectly imperfect boy, mom. That's funny. I like games like that. Those are my type of games. Like I like to play the matching and the threes and that sort of thing. But yeah, guys. I mean, I think honestly, with the landfill close, I don't think that they're connected, but they could be. Um, I just I just really I don't know why they would have thrown the clothes out, why that is happening, Robini, get that candy bar. And Carla says, oh, don't ruin peanut butter with adding syrup. So gross, and pancakes taste great with crunchy peanut butter covered with sugar so it won't stick to the roof of your mouth. Even my parrots all love the peanut butter. Really, the parrots do too. That's cool. Yeah. Oh, can't you like make like little bird feeders? A friend of mine told me that you could take a pine cone and do peanut butter, like cover it with peanut butter and then dip it in like the bird seed and let it set overnight and it'll harden. And then, the birds will eat it. So that makes sense. I wonder if your parrots would like that. Oh, I'm sorry, Connie S. Oh, your beagle. Aw, poor beagle. I just feel so bad for, our pets when they don't feel good because they can't tell us, what's wrong. It's so sad. It's so sad. Well, guys, I'm going to hop off of here and I'm going to go eat some peanut butter. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not kidding. We don't have any peanut butter. But I have something really interesting that I'm working on for tomorrow, and I should have it all the way ready so we can do clips tomorrow. And then, like I said, I'm also working on some other things behind the scenes, still working on Summer Wells too. So, and Sebastian's case, which in my opinion, people were calling it Summer Wells 2.0, Sebastian's case. And I was like, I don't know, but I will tell you now that I've dove in, I can definitely see that. So I want to, go ahead and keep going, into that. So I think it's a good thing, and, thank you, Brenda. Thank you, Carla. Yes. Hey, Jude, I have a hummingbird feeder mix and I have a really pretty hummingbird feeder, like it's a little glass one, but I don't have a place to hang it and I have to find a place to hang it. So, because like all the trees here are like super tall with like no branches that are low. It's really weird. Um, but yeah, I love hummingbirds. They're just so adorable. Good night, James. Good night, Lori. Good night, Connie S. Good night, Meg, Vic. Good night, Detroit Rock City. Good night, everybody. Aw. Thank you all so much for being here. And like I said, I'll have a good video prepared for you guys tomorrow. All right. I love all of you guys. Say prayers for Seth. Say prayers for Sebastian. And let's say prayers that, someone does the right thing, and we can find Sebastian. So thank you guys all for being here.